Ladies and gentlemen, we are now live on Sportswire Radio, and boy, what a past few days it's been. Maybe even what a past few months it's been. In many ways, a movement that you've helped create, a movement that's starting to crystallize. And tonight, we celebrate it, but maybe we also dissect and maybe we talk about who's in, who's out, who says they want to be in, but maybe they're really not in or they ever were in, and a whole list of other things. But also talk about the Promo Wrestling Federation, talking about a passing of the torch where truly the Promo Wrestling Federation will be at the forefront of reimagining not only Sportswire Radio, but all wrestling matters, and introduce the Promo Wrestling Federation to you tonight, and maybe see some familiar faces, play some bigger roles, and maybe the biggest roles yet when it comes to all things related to all wrestling matters. And there's no better person tonight to be here with you to talk about that than maybe right now the greatest backyard an underground wrestling owner in this circuit currently, the man who you literally saw just minutes ago on ROEW's latest show, Tuesday Night Throwdown, where James Taylor talked about different matches. He talked about a new championship belt that could very well be also at the forefront of all wrestling matters, and maybe even a former owner who called out James Taylor tonight. Plus, we'll talk about maybe a few things that are on the mind of James Taylor. Maybe he'll talk about some different things about all wrestling matters, and maybe he'll even address upcoming at Weekend Warfare, June 22nd, which could very well prove to be the greatest backyard underground wrestling match in history between maybe you might want to say a reborn outsider Jack Delta and a new and improved matchmaker in JX. Plus, who knows what'll happen tonight? We're live, and anybody here on this platform, in prime time, on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, might see and say anything that who knows who else will certainly have maybe their battle lines be drawn tonight. But stay tuned, because plus I'm going to even have a few things that I want to say, and I can assure you, you'll want to tune in for that. But before I do anything, even though this man has been here so many times that really he should be the one that's running Sportswire Radio. After all, he's the one, when you think about the history of the All Wrestling Matters movement, and you think about Sportswire Radio, this is the man, a backyard wrestling legend, which he was even called once upon a time, in a company in Tennessee. When we think about the Mount Rushmore, when we think about the biggest draws who come on here time and time again, it's this man who's right up there. And you know you're watching, you know you're listening, but it is time to give him that owner-like introduction that even though he's gotten it time and time again, he certainly deserves it, because he is always at the forefront, and ROEW is truly the one company in the great state of Michigan that is taking the bull by the horns, and they're doing things, reinventing the wheel, like some others here on this platform that get it. I'll mention them in those other states, and I'm sure you'll see some other familiar faces. But first, it's time to give the greatest backyard and underground wrestling owner in this circuit that introduction that he deserves. Because after all, while he may be a Tyrant King and a nemesis, he's a Sportswire Radio Hall of Famer, and he's our chairman emeritus in the Promo Wrestling Federation. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to introduce this man. So join me in giving him a standing ovation in prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage, where figuratively and literally all wrestling matters, which you've built. So let's get right to it. So with that, show here on the Sports Report. Number one global sports show. The owner of ROEW. His name is simply put the nemesis, James my friend, long time no speak.
Long time. It's been too long. Tom, how you doing tonight?
It wasn't the same, it wasn't, we loved, Van Hansen was awesome. What a great interview. It was a lot of fun. I headbanged. We talked about different things. He's got his own wrestling ring. Super cool guy. Love having him here. But it was, in a way, almost not the same without you and some other usual suspects that come on here. We're all suspects at this point. We're all rebel rousers now. We're all, obviously, I can't believe you said this type crowds, but it wasn't, in a way, the same without the usuals. It wasn't the same without you, especially, because after all, everybody's like, well, where's James Taylor? Oh, James Taylor. It's got to be about James Taylor. But I think it's for good reasons, because after all, you are the greatest backyard and underground wrestling owner in this circuit. And also, you're our chairman emeritus of the Promo Wrestling Federation, which I want to talk about here very shortly. But how you feeling tonight, James?
I feel great. I'm doing well. I'm excited about the way things are going. ROEW is, like I said, we're turning a new leaf, and I told you I'm going to take us into the next era. And a guy like Jack Delta, who is the world champion in all of backyard and underground wrestling. I mean, you think of, guys that have held the world title in a lot of different companies, but one that's really standing out, and not even a guy, and I hate to admit it, not even a little twerp. I'm going to call him that, Mr. Austin G. I like the guy. I like him. I'd like to face him maybe one day. But with him being the arrogant piece of trash that he is, he's not turning heads like Jack Delta, winning and keeping that ROEW World Heavyweight Championship.
Exactly. Preach, James Taylor, preach, because I know that Austin G has had a great career. Nobody's taken away from what Austin G has done. Austin G has certainly been in the game a long time, just like you. But there are those in the community that are what I would like to say tone deaf. And then there are those that are about the movement of all wrestling matters. And even though he didn't know it, and even though maybe he didn't realize it, Jack Delta has been the man. He has been at the center of the all wrestling matters movement. Why, you may ask? Because Jack Delta has gone to places. He has gone and tested his skills. He has helped those companies. He has helped those companies build, and he has given people an opportunity to see him wrestle their stars. Whereas Austin G, again, Austin G is only wrestling who Austin G wants to wrestle and watch. All Wrestling Matters is about collaboration, open collaboration, letting the people see their dream matches, letting wrestlers connect with others, letting the people see, what would it be like if Jack Delta wrestles JX? What would it be like if CJ Black wrestles Jack Delta? What would it be like if Jack Delta wrestles, I don't know, Jason Storm? Or how about Big Man Cam? I mean, we can keep going. But the point is that Jack Delta has been at the forefront without even knowing it about all Wrestling Matters. And he has gone out there, and he has gone out in promotion after promotion, and he's at least given the people an opportunity to see what his skills are and let those companies see a guy on a larger scale who has been in places like ESW and WCEF and all the other places he's gone to. Whereas guys like Austin G are only comfortable about seeing their own shadow and only comfortable with wrestling they would choose, who they would like. Austin G is a great guy, I'm sure, in terms of what he does in his real life. But ESW Shockwave is not at the forefront of All Wrestling Matters. All Wrestling Matters is about collaboration, open collaboration. ROEW is at the forefront of it. We're going to get to Promo Wrestling Federation shortly, but the facts are is that you and Jack Delta have a long documented history. You and Jack Delta were in Lafayette, Tennessee last year at this time, as a matter of fact, filming a match. Hell must be frozen over if you and him are back in the same locker room again. But you know what? Here we are. And that's at the forefront, the definition of All Wrestling Matters. Austin G is not All Wrestling Matters. Austin G is all Austin G. That's the difference. And that's why you're seeing a movement. There are people here tonight who want to be in the movement. There are people here tonight who are watching to see what we say. There are people here tonight who want to see, and they're curious for the first time, what is All Wrestling Matters? Well, you, the people, have built it. You, the people, have wanted change. We're tired of the same old status quo. We're tired of the same old people that tell us the same old lines and try to be intellectually dishonest and feed us information as if we're intellectually dishonest and stupid. The time is now. Change is at the forefront. Embrace it, or thank you very much. I wish you all the best, but I want people who want to be here and be a part of a movement. And I'm going to talk about that later on. But that ROEW, what I do want to say in summarizing before we get to the Promo Wrestling Federation, is at the forefront of open collaboration. Because you see, Big Man Cam, he works in XCW. Yes, he works in XCW. He works in CBW. He's a part of ALW, but he's in ROEW. JX has been in XCW. OMW, he's been in a lot of other different places. Jack Delta goes without saying. You certainly go without saying. There's a whole list of other people that we've seen in ROEW, past and present, who have been in other places. ROEW is at the center of All Wrestling Matters, and that's why ROEW and Jack Delta is about to play his best role yet, because he's about to have, for my money, in my opinion, on June 22nd, where you can go to ROEW Backyard Wrestling to watch it on YouTube and also check out tonight's show. We're going to play some footage for that in a little while. The greatest backyard underground wrestling match in history. I turn it over to you.
Well, let's go ahead and hit the gas pedal 100 miles an hour. Let's talk about Weekend Warfare, because JX, JX and Jack Delta, they got a little bit of a history, but not inside ROEW. And coming up at Weekend Warfare, it's going to be the first time ever that they actually go one-on-one. And not only are they going one-on-one for the first time in ROEW, Tom, they're going one-on-one for the greatest prize in this industry, and that's inside ROEW. Now, that might piss a lot of people off. I really don't care. But my company is going to represent and be at the top of the mountain just like I am. Just like I want everybody that's in this business that actually has a heart and a passion. I'll get more about that in a little bit. But JX is going to take on a man who's known around the backyard wrestling scene and the underground wrestling scene. And I know me and him have a little bit of a history. But one thing I can't ever take away, and one thing that gets me over on anybody, is when somebody shows me the ultimate respect, despite all the bullshit that I've ever gone through or anybody's gone through. You come straight up to me and you want to shake my hand and show me the respect like that, you've earned mine 100%. But nonetheless, not only is Jack Delta the world champion, he's about to go into his first title defense, Tom. He's going to defend that title against a man who is the current OMW champion. Now, I got a
The
couple
man
of notes
right here on our
here.
screen. How about that? The man that's right
Yeah.
here on our screen. JX
And
himself.
right here, you can listen to what he said. He actually is saying that he's changing for this matchup.
For a few reasons. One specifically, a challenge was laid out to me by somebody I got a big past with, if you didn't know. Jack Delta, I accept your challenge for the ROEW World Championship. Now, we've got a lot of past and Omega over this championship here, but it ain't about this time. This time, It's about a championship that I should have never lost. I was screwed out of it by my significant other, unfortunately. So, we dealt with that when we got home. But this time, it's you and I, one-on-one, here in ROEW for the first time. It's been a very long time that you and I have faced one-on-one. Things are a lot different this time. When you and I go head-to-head for that goal, it's going to be a different JX. It ain't going to be the happy-go-lucky matchmaker. I promise you one thing. I'm walking out as champion, and you're walking out a broken man again and walking out of the yard again.
Ooh.
No more
Ooh.
Mr. Nice Guy.
Ooh, James Taylor.
Strong
Somebody
words.
read the
Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to show
very
your
strong
support to
words. That's where
ROEW,
you follow
please hit that subscribe button
right
up at
there.
the top.
That's
Everybody
where you
go
follow.
and like and subscribe to ROEW and support us and watch the best in all of backyard and underground wrestling. And if you're interested in joining, all you got to do is just DM me and we'll talk some
You
business.
DM this
But
platform.
nonetheless,
Yep, you go for it, James Taylor.
sorry, my bad. I'm just on a roll, I guess, for a moment. But nonetheless,
We're all
you
fired
could
up tonight.
You could tell. I mean, JX is a former ROEW world champion. It quite frankly didn't
He
go the way
lost
that
it
he
really
wanted.
in very controversial fashion about 7 months ago. Very controversial fashion.
He did. And I think what he's wanting in this matchup with Jack Delta is to prove that he's the best in underground and backyard wrestling. And I see him getting a chance to actually make that happen. But the thing is, this is going to be Jack Delta's first title defense. So is it going to be a
the
short
toughest
run?
one. You know it. You've been a champion. You've been at the top in this sport. You have been one of the biggest draws in this history of this circuit. And Jack Delta's first defense is the toughest one. This is going to be a Donnybrook. Can Jack Delta prove that he is pound for pound the best? Can Jack Delta prove and silence the critics? Silence the critics in Indiana. Silence the critics in North Carolina. Silence the critics in Texas. Silence the critics in Maryland. Silence the critics everywhere in the backyard and the underground that Jack Delta's here. But how long can Jack Delta stay on top and be here? Jack Delta right now is the measuring stick. He's pound for pound, in my opinion, at the forefront. He is the champion of the true All Wrestling Matters movement in terms of what it entails. But can he keep up with it? JX is nipping at his heels. These two men have a long history. JX was champion here, and he lost the title in controversial fashion, and he's got a lot to prove. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, what we very well are going to see on June 22nd at Weekend Warfare is the greatest backyard and underground wrestling match in history.
Hands down, without a doubt, Tom. Now, I know it sounds like I'm blowing a bunch of smoke up Jack Delta's ass, but it's not that. It's the fact that as an owner, I like to protect my talent and I like to show off my talent to the world. And somebody with the caliber of Jack Delta and even JX as the #1 contender, Jack Delta laid out the challenge. He wants to prove why he is the cream of the crop in this industry today. And what better person to go against than somebody that knows him almost better than anybody, and that being JX. So why not? Why feed him a bunch of talent that he could probably fly through and squash when he could go straight to the best that there is next to him, JX, one-on-one. Probably going to be the greatest wrestling match of all time.
I
And
said
that
it.
might
You
piss
could not
TJ
agree with
off
you
a little
more.
bit.
Could not agree with you more that we're on the forefront of something real special. You know, TBW might have had the greatest backyard underground wrestling show in history in Anniversary 7, but JX and Jack Delta, the outsider Jack Delta, a man you have actually been in the ring with, we're going to see, I think, for my money, the greatest backyard underground wrestling match in history. And the only place you can see it is at ROEW's Backyard Wrestling's YouTube page, and you're going to see a slew of other stars. You know, Jason Storm is back, and Jason Storm called you out, James Taylor. He called you out and basically kind of thumbed the noses of your basically run right now in everything related to what's going on. And we're going to put the footage up here right now because he certainly had a lot to say, and I think the audience might want to very well hear some of that for those that are listening and watching, and you're going to get that chance right here.
Actually, might want to back up just a tad.
Taylor or not, we run shit.
Now, I don't know what he thinks that he runs anything because he's got no authority, especially not anymore, especially after the fact that I own 100% of this company now. And as far as BYW, I paved the damn road that he walked on. I'm glad that he's back, and I'm glad he brings a big bastard like Cam right there. That's a hell of a talent.
Well, how
But I
about
think he's
some
being
of the things
brainwashed.
Mocking his
Hey,
opponent.
Big man Cam, I mean, you have wrestled a lot of people. You have been in Lafayette. You've wrestled the Nature Boy, the Woo Man, Gage Flair. You certainly crossed paths with the Shade, the Ledger Shade, our Hulk Hogan in the yard. But there's no question that Big man Cam, I mean, I don't know if we've seen anything like him.
He's considered a monster in the yard. That's what I would call him. And you don't want to underestimate him, but the only flaw I think he has right now is literally being brainwashed by Mr. Baldy over there, Mr. Clean, the depressed looking Mr. Clean. I'm glad Jason Storm's back and he finally decided to show his ugly mug after selling the company to me. But I think he's a little bit amped up and he's a little bit nervous at the fact that a green guy like Alex Cross, Tom, he's going to be facing him at Weekend Warfare. And I made the match tonight at Tuesday Throwdown.
I saw it. I mean, obviously, Jason Storm's a busy man. He's going to be wrestling 2 weeks from now at Weekend Warfare. He's back at Summer Bash. I mean, Jason Storm's going to certainly be putting a lot of people on notice. I mean, there's no question that Jason Storm's got a lot to prove, and I'm sure that you're going to be somebody that he's going to prove it and see why that he is going to come out and with this BYW, and especially with a guy like Big Man Cam on his side, that Jason Storm you very well see the best is yet to come from him.
Definitely, 100%. And on top of that, let's talk about the fact that I just created and bringing to the table the new ROEW Prestige Championship.
We're going to come back to that right now. I'm so glad that you brought that. For whatever reason, we're experiencing a little bit of a technical difficulty here, but let's pull that up for the audience, and that's my Wi-Fi.
Prestige title rules for the tournament. The title is built on respect, gentlemen.
Unfortunately, that's my
There
Wi-Fi.
will be a handshake before and after the match. There are no rope breaks, no punches to the face. First one is a warning. Second one is a disqualification. The title could change hands on a disqualification and a countout, so keep that in mind, gentlemen. Keep that in mind. Any interference results in a disqualification and termination of the interfering party. So abide by these rules, gentlemen. So let's announce another match on the card before the main event because we all already know the main event. It's time to show who can wrestle and who can't. What I mean by that is since he sold the company to me, we have not seen not one lick of Mr. Jason Storm. Well, ladies and gentlemen of the ROEW universe and Jason Storm, you will be returning in a matchup at Weekend Warfare, going one-on-one with one Alex Cross. I hope Alex Cross shocks the world when he beats Jason Storm. And last but certainly not least, I'm looking forward to the main event as JX, one of the greatest in the backyard industry, goes one-on-one with the backyard icon himself. And yes, I said that. The backyard icon. The man himself, the outsider, the ROEW World's Heavyweight Champion, Jack Delta, who represents my company.
I'm still perplexed after your history with him in Tennessee last year. Wrestling him, and here we are.
Catch all this June 22nd, Weekend Warfare, and that's because there can't be no other way.
We'll take this off the screen. We'll come back to some other things. But boy, James Taylor, I still feel like it's hell is frozen over. Jack Delta and you, and he works for you, and I mean, this is really like what a coup for ROEW. I mean, just what a coup. You and him together. I mean, boy,
100%.
certainly outside forces in Tennessee are wondering still how is that going to work out.
It's fine. Well, I'm going to address that here shortly, but beside the
point, we're going to get to those outside forces, I'm sure.
One other match we didn't get to talk about really is the fact that Jacob Collins is unfortunately still injured, and he is not cleared by the ROEW medical staff, and he will not be at Weekend Warfare. So that being said, CJ Black needs an opponent.
Against Steve Money, who we saw tonight against Big Man Cam.
But will C Money be able to? I wonder if this was a plan by Jason Storm to bring in Mr. Big Man Cam to soften up C Money for CJ Black. And that to me is some dirty shit. But you know what?
Oh, you
I have
have
all
to
the faith in
expect
the world.
otherwise. What would you have not expected from certainly, let's say, the likes of Jason Storm and CJ Black? I mean, after all, they're best friends. I mean, you know that you're going to certainly not go unchecked as owner. I mean, you know, listen, you've been a competitor. You're a legend yourself. You're the backyard legend. You've been described that in Tennessee. They called you a backyard wrestling legend. So you know the deal. You've been in this game a long time, since 98.
Yeah, yes, sir. That's right. I have all the faith in the world, though, that C Money is going to come out on top. Mr. 7-star superstar can think all he wants that he might have got ahead of the game, but I really don't believe that luck is going to be on his side. Not this at June 22nd at ROEW's Weekend Warfare. And ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned to that. Subscribe if you haven't. Hit that notification bell, because as soon as it's live, I promise you, satisfaction guaranteed. And that's coming from this guy.
Ooh, well, you know what? You'll certainly find out. And there's a lot of people that want to say hello, and I want to talk about the ROEW situation in a little while, but I want to get to also some PWF coverage. But let me say hello to a bunch of people, because a lot of people have things to say. First of all, thank you, Zilla, for your support. I appreciate you, Zilla, and I noticed Zilla followed me on Instagram on both accounts. This man, I think, will be a topic in a few minutes with the Promo Wrestling Federation. I'm excited about that. Jack Delta, a man that was an opponent a year of yours ago still, which I'm still trying to process. I think hell has frozen over. Want to say thank you to my new boss, James Taylor. I mean, let me read that again. Want to thank you to my new boss, James Taylor. He's been making stuff happen. Notice he took over on Tuesday Night Throwdown. Actually comes out 2 Tuesdays in a row, by the way. We're 2 for 2 on Tuesdays. Something's good about Tuesdays. I want to say hello. I want to get hello to some of our PWF friends. I have some links I'm going to put up. We're going to talk about that shortly. For you. Well, I'm sure we're going to have to get the popcorn ready in about, 20 minutes or so? 25 minutes? Probably, right? Want to say hello to our champion in the PWF, Skippy the Evil Clown. Hello, Mr. James Taylor, and also Sportswire Radio. And speaking of
real quick, if I could cut you off, I apologize. But that man right there, that's proof of another reason of another company that I'm a part of now, that I did own, that I booked, that I created the PWF, the Promo Wrestling Heavyweight Championship. A company that I own, a 2K E-Fed, not mind you, and I never made myself champion, but I created guys. I gave guys a platform and gave them basically blueprints to become a superstar. And not only did this man already have a character in mind and already have his own ego, he became the world's champion. And not only that, Tom, 3 years he's been in this company. He's the only man that's undefeated. He's a hell of a creator. He's a hell of a competitor. Skippy the Evil Clown, Jack Delta. Look at that. Look at that. And that's
I still cannot process. And speaking of the Promo Wrestling Federation, we are officially now live. We are joined in progress, because we're about to talk about it here in a few minutes, on the Promo Wrestling YouTube page. And we're also now on the PWF Extra YouTube page. So this is what you get on Sportswire. Now you're joined in progress on 3 different YouTube channels. So thank you very much. And I think that's only the beginning. Want to say
talk about a guy. I'm sorry. You want to talk about a guy with Skippy the Evil Clown that's so loyal. That man's been loyal to me since day one. And you being the new owner, he's going to love it. He's going to be loyal to you. I promise you that.
Well, you're not going anywhere. That's the good news. You're not leaving. So, of course, we want him to be loyal, because I'm loyal to everybody else. So that's exactly why nothing's changing. And we're only adding things like the Promo Wrestling Federation live right now with Sportswire Radio. That's what you're getting. Our Sportswire Radio family of podcasts on our internet radio station. You're hearing some of that on the Instagram channel. You are seeing some of the presenters on Sportswire Radio coming on down. Shortly, we're going to talk about some of the people you see on this platform, a part of All Wrestling Matters, are going to be joining in. We have new people in the Discord group. You're getting that already. Want to say hello to the WC All-Out Champion, James Marshall. WC has been at the forefront of All Wrestling Matters. Let's give credit where credit is due. I'm going to say it. Craven Rage, he's on the team. He's on my team. And WCE is always on my team. I am sure you're going to be addressing this individual or somebody else. I'm
I
sure
don't
you'll
know
have.
who the hell he is. I mean, who the
I'm
hell is
sure
he?
you're going to say something in 20 minutes when something will come up. But until then, we say hello. And the Dead Man did start in 1990. So I would definitely say that it's been a great 33 and a half years. And maybe the Undertaker's here watching you. Maybe that's the Undertaker, right? Maybe the
The
Undertaker is.
Undertaker. I think the Undertaker is more respectable. I think this is a poser, but hey, whatever. It's fine.
Well, you know what? We'll let the court of a public opinion decide. Want to say hello to one of my buddies, Mr. Alan Michaels. Alan is one of my favorites, and Alan apparently is going to be at Summer Bash between July 5th and July 7th. He's doing some big things. He defeated Jay Wild last month in the Tennessee Backyard Wrestling's Rampage tag team show. He tag team match there with Russell Cooper, then the champion, and we say hello to one of my favorites. And Zilla has a question we'll come back to. I want to say hello to Mr. Jake Matthews, one of my buddies. Jake is another one of the guys that gets the spirit of all wrestling matters and everything else we're doing, and that's really Jake's face, by the way. Andrew Lovelace, another one of my another person that we connected, making things happen with, making waves. He's our DJ on Sportswire Radio. He's also going to be at Summer Bash. He's all over the place, hanging out with Brutus the Barber Beefcake, Kurt Angle, hanging out with the likes of Matt Riddle, Ric Flair, the Nature Boy, and he was studying tapes and came on to watch the show. That's the spirit. Want to give a big shout out, actually. Speaking of Ox McCoy, I got a big shout out. I want all my supporters out here, everybody out here, especially for the Promo Wrestling Federation, to go out and support Ox McCoy. Not only is he just sends messages in blood, he reigns in blood, he eats, sleeps, drinks, and bathes in blood. His son has got a YouTube channel. It's the Bros. They talk about WWE. They talk about SmackDown, and you got to go out there and support him, Ox McCoy and his son. It's the Bros. They're certainly better than most podcasts out there that are come on or talk about different things. So let's go out and support those, especially like Ox McCoy, a legend in the hardcore deathmatch scene, a huge part of things in the IMF, and he's a part of the Sinners, and he considers me part of the Sinners, even though I tend to like the guys in the foundation. But Ox McCoy, I'm not arguing with him. I'm doing what he says, and everybody else should join me in hitting that sub button for Ox McCoy's son's YouTube channel, because I can assure you it's going to be one that'll be a real one, quote unquote, to watch and tune in. So thank you very much for that. Go out and support him. And Andrew Lovelace, that's awesome to hear. That sets you apart from so many people. Yes, Andrew Lovelace this guy is one of the hardest working men in show business. And Andrew Lovelace definitely gets it. And Big Man Cam, we just spoke about him. And he has also been to OMW and also wants to know, though, how's everybody going? And speaking of Big Man Cam, he's also a part of a company called ALW out of Marion, Ohio. And why is that important? Because we have guys there like Blizzard and other guys there. They're not only coming to this platform, I even hear from a birdie through the grapevine that they're going to connect with some guys in DKW like Matthew Forsaken and Darkron, because they heard the power of All Wrestling Matters. They heard the power of collaboration. So that's another example of what we're doing here. So thank you to those guys. Also want to give a big shout out to one of my favorites out there, one of my boys, the headline, the main event himself, Aaron Blaze, another one of the guys in our community, like Jack Delta. He's been traveling UWA. He's obviously seen him there as the Heritage Champion. XCW, we've seen him there. YBW, his own fed. Aaron Blaze, one of my boys, is in the house. It is always good to see him, and I hear he's going to be here very soon. And speaking of Darkron, there he is, and shots were always fired, and he does his homework. Andrew Lovelace is always prepared. Amen to Mr. Delta, the outsider, the backyard icon himself. Doors open for everyone to come to ROEW. ROEW has been right there for my money. The door has been always open for what I've seen from ROEW. And amen, all wrestling matters. Darkron will message you. I think you guys know each other.
Okay.
Get to Skip. When I get to PWF, let me just clear these comments. Hello, DKW. I hope you're all so well. Hello, Judas and everyone. C Money, a man who unfortunately suffered a loss. I have wrestled JX and Jack Delta. Man, let me tell you, them boys are going to go crazy. I could not agree more with that. Want to say hello to my friend Scorpion the Assassin over in the UWF. And he has to say, I'm glad to see people try to build bridges between companies. Yet guys are unable to tell what's story and what's real, let alone egos will make it hard. But we'll see what happens. You know what? I think and I love Scorpion. Scorpion always watches my clips, always posts, different things. But I think that that's what we're doing. We're going out there and having open collaboration. I think that's the key. Open collaboration. All wrestling matters. If you want to be here, everybody's supportive. We want to be able to network. We want to be able to exist. You're seeing companies that would never have worked with each other, ever have known each other. As a matter of fact, James Taylor, I got to give you credit, believe it or not. That's right. I'm going to give you credit. Boy, I'm sure that's going to upset some people once again, because James Taylor, it was about 15 or 16 months ago that you had Omen Black and Soldier GP on the Nemesis sessions. Remember that?
Yeah.
You remember having them on? And right
sure
afterwards, the IMF were everywhere. They were on this platform. We saw them in Wisconsin, saw them in Michigan, saw them in Indiana, saw them in Ohio. And now they're the ones that have basically helped put together this thing called Summer Bash from July 5th to July 7th. And it's even got people from like Resurrection Wrestling. It's got people from Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, your old stomping grounds, ROEW, your company's represented by the likes of JX and Jason Storm. And I mean, it's everywhere. And those were the guys that came onto your show. And since that moment, here we are. And James Taylor, maybe in a way, we give you credit as well. But I give credit for Scorpion for giving us a nice comment, and we'll certainly see. And hope springs eternal, and we're having fun, and that's what it's all about. And I'll say the UWF or anybody else, you want to come on down? Come on down. Join the conversation. Join the community. Join the movement. I would love to see Scorpion the Assassin wrestle Omen Black, or Scorpion the Assassin wrestle Soldier GP, or whoever else it might be. Anthony Steele, the real deal. How about Shane Davidson? How about Alan Michaels? We can keep going. I mean, if that's what people want, and if there's a will and a way, I'm sure that certainly people will certainly make that happen. But until then, I want to get to the PWF in a few minutes, but we'll come back to that. Mr. Clean, that championship is honorable. Thank you very much. Is the ROEW, well, he is the owner of ROEW. No, he is the owner of ROEW. That's what he is.
What was the question?
He was asking, are you really the owner of ROEW? And I said, yes you are.
Yes.
Love the prestige rules. Yeah, you know what it reminds me real quick? I don't know if you ever watched World of Sport Wrestling, or like, let's say a lot of the old, like Marty Jones, the old British Bulldogs, Steven Regal, when they went to WCW, but more like in Europe back in the 80s. It reminds me very much of an very old British style, because we do a lot of British coverage here. Yeah, love the prestige rules. It's got my name over it, and I think that's where it comes from. And I love the UWF. I've always said, come on to Sportswire, but James has got, a lot of energy, and, I obviously love that we have energy, and we've always had a great relationship, and we always want to bring everybody together here. Alan Michaels gives the mic drop, the firebomb. Hello to this man here. Obviously, you guys know each other very well. You ring a bell to you? You remember him?
How you doing, Titan?
Just that. I want that championship because of the rules. Yeah, pure titles. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah,
I want to say hello to Cody Flores. How you doing, Cody? Nice to see you, my friend. And Zilla says some good words. And working hard pays off, to be honest. Thanks for the words, James and Tom. I want to help anyone I can. I just want all wrestling to be together. And promoing, the promo world is a part of that. The promo world is a huge part of All Wrestling Matters. It's Vega been trying to hit you up. Well, we're going to come back to that for sure. I'll clean up my language since I don't see my comment anymore. To Jacob Collins, womp womp F Jacob Collins. Boy, you better be careful. Big man Cam's, if you say some things tonight, or if we say some things tonight, Big man Cam's going to come after us. So you better be careful tonight. Ox says, thank you very much. Love you, Ox. Obviously, Ox is definitely the man. Don't get Ox angry. And the prestige title and tournament is tailor-made for a CJ Black career highlight. Your longtime nemesis for the past year, CJ Black. Good old CJ Black is in the house. And hello to you, Mr. 7-star superstar. And we'll see if maybe Mr. Delta or Mr. X can top it. Hello to Darkron. How you doing, my friend, my good brother Darkron? Doing great. Hope you're having a great day. Correction, Mr. Black. It was missed for me. Wrestling still lives. I hope it still lives. I like it to live.
Vegas Storm, good guy.
Yeah, Dark Cryptic, fingers crossed. I go to Summer Bash. I will talk to my boss tomorrow when I go to work. I'm looking forward to that. We give a lot of credit to the both of you and the entire locker room. That's it, and that's all it's about. Sarge has finally showed up on his own time.
Sarge.
Oh, we're getting to this right now. We're going to pull up the link on the screen. Nemesis retired from in-ring competition. Is his ownership a sign of unretiring? And did you know James Taylor was scared to fight the Sarge? Which leads me now, James, to talk about also why we are here. In the passing of the torch, but yet you're staying involved in maybe in your biggest role yet alongside ROEW, because we have the Promo Wrestling Federation, which we're actually live right now on YouTube. Who would guess that we're live right now on the Promo Wrestling Federation YouTube page? And it looks like things are about to really pick up because the Promo Wrestling Federation is now a part of this All Wrestling Matters movement. And James, let's talk about it and what's to come, because I think you might see some familiar faces who might be joining and helping things out here.
Let's shorten it just a little bit and let's go a little bit back in history, right back to 2020, and when the pandemic was among us, and everybody was too afraid to go outside. Well, there was this little app that came about called TikTok. Of course, it was around for about a year at that point, but I went on there. A lot of other people went on there, started doing like lip syncing stuff. A lot of people did the dancing. Well, there was a small spot of a group of people who would just go on there and cut a wrestling promo. They'd cut their favorite wrestlers' promos. They just try to do a promo. And then some people just kind of got together and a promo community was created. Of course, there were some that were in talks about being on Instagram and Facebook and all that other stuff back in the past. But for it to really come to light was from 2020 at the very end of it to 2021, 22, and then it just started booming. Well, at the end of 2020, I was part of a company called PCW, Promo Championship Wrestling, and it was ran by a guy by the name of Kent Gray. Kent, he did what he did, but all it was we would just talk shit to each other back and forth, and then this person would win this week, this person, it was just something fun to do. Well, I had a light. Hey, can we see these matches come to light? Because I'm giving a story, because this is the old guy in me, I'm giving a story for these fans to see, and they're ready to see a matchup now. So I got on 2K, and I created a match between me and a certain individual who was, he's not with the company anymore, but he was a guy by the name of Babyface Beans. I know, weird name, but he was a good guy. And I created his character, I created mine, and we had a match. And the match was supposed to be whoever won, that's how it went. So I did it, and I presented it on the Discord channel, and everybody liked it, and I kept it on my YouTube channel. Well, after about a month or so, PCW was unfortunately already falling, and I decided I wanted to keep this thing alive the best that I could. There's other promo companies now, mind you. I'm not taking no credit from them, but I created the Promo Wrestling Federation. I actually created it as like an NXT for PCW, a place for guys to come in who could never actually go into the yard. Guys who couldn't actually afford to go to a wrestling school, guys who were looking to develop a character and create something and learn how to talk. And I created the Promo Wrestling Federation. I said this will be a standard where people could just learn how to get into the business or learn how to talk and then go on to go do whatever they wanted to do. But instead, PCW fell. I purchased that and merged it and created PWF even more. I upscaled it. I ended up making it to where guys would create their characters and live vicariously through the video game of WWE 2K while they went on TikTok and talked trash to each other. They'd tell a story. And not only would they tell a story, those matches would come to life. And then the YouTube audience can see these two characters come to life because there is a community out there that love e-feds. And that's what they're called. Entertainment federations. Electronic. It's like esports, but with 2K.
How about this? I mean, look at what we're seeing here, what this community has done. I mean, you look at this stuff. I mean, I think what's done in the PWF, to me, I think in many ways it absolutely has the spirit of All Wrestling Matters, because what these guys and gals have done, and again, I'm not really familiar with this world, admittedly, because all you do is see me here, but the point is that they're going out there and they hone their character. They go out there and think about their skills. They've gone out there in a lot of ways. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to say it here. I mean, shots will be fired. I think a lot of people in the Promo Wrestling Federation, whether it's King Vampire, whether it's obviously Skippy, whether it's Sarge, they can speak better than a lot of people that come on this platform and demand time on the microphone. I got to be straight up on that. What they do here, I think they blow away wrestlers that come. I'll even say I've had British wrestlers that come on here and can't talk. These guys and gals can do better than a lot of them.
Yeah. Not every single one of them, but yes, a lot of them can. A lot of the top guys. You become a top guy. Yes, it's in a way like politics, but I book companies the way a real show should be ran. Look what I'm doing with ROEW. I'm proving that in the backyard industry
ROEW is
right
the
now.
place to be, at the center of all wrestling matters. Couldn't agree more.
I'm bringing my experience of what I've done in the past into what I've done with PWF. Now, with PWF, this isn't your typical 2K show that you watch other people and streamers play where they just have 2 AI bots and they just fight and then that's it. And they come out with regular music and stuff. No, this is full production. It went to where the guys come out, commentary is involved, and no, it's not Michael Cole and all the guys from the WWE. This is a commentator like myself. Dave Johnson is my alter ego, by the way. So there's the spoiler alert. But if you listen to the commentary, I've had guest commentators on there, and we talk like we're selling this show as an official product because it really is. It's presentation. There's production that goes into this and long hours. There's been a lot of arguments through Discord chats. I'll go ahead and say it. There's a lot of the heads that we had where we had the board of directors and we'd go, and I could be stubborn because I have a distinct vision when it came to this. Okay, this was my baby.
You distinct and stubborn? Really? I would have never guessed
I know,
after all this time.
So I created it to what it is today. And if anybody's like, well, it's just a 2K thing, go watch. This is not like any 2K promo wrestling league you would ever see ever. I promise you there's none of them like this on YouTube. And I built 1,250 subscribers alone just by doing it. And it's a product
listen,
that
this is like a legitimate Discord, 50 plus members, YouTube's 1,200 plus subscribers. You got an active base. They're here tonight. Skippy, Sarge, Peter Richards, who's been here at times and streams. You know, you got King Vampire, who, by the way, big shout out to King Vampire. He's doing a fundraiser for the ASPC. He rescues animals. Animal is horrible how people treat animals at times. He goes out there and rescues them. And, you know, thank God for people like him. But there's a whole list of great people I got a chance to meet here in the community. And this is what it's about. And this is what really Lone Wolf is here. Hello to you, Lone Wolf. And this is what it's about, to be able to bring this to a different form of community. And, you know, obviously we're going to I'd like to introduce some people that might want to be involved in the PWF and, you know, in about 5 or 10 minutes to let them have a moment. But, you know, I think what it to me entails is that I'd like to see this obviously continue. I'd like to see you stay involved, but I'd also like to see some of the people that are regularly wrestling in our community that would maybe want to help out and help not only these streamers that are very successful, but maybe some of the wrestlers who could use working in their promo, because Lord knows we have tons of them that come on here and they can't talk.
Yes. So 2 things. One, let me clear up a little thing real fast. And there was a comment that Peter said, and I'm gonna add to that. Hopefully PWF does get better. Me and Buddha built that company.
Is this the one right here? Are we looking at this right here?
Yeah, we're looking at that one. So there's guys like Peter Richards. There's guys like Buddha. There's a guy by the name of I Promise, or his name is the Lethal One. You get Sergeant, and you get Creepy Leech even. These guys are literally despite what their opinions are of me, some like me, some don't. Me and Peter, I like to believe we were friends, but, you know, everything happens for a reason. But nonetheless, I'm not going to take away credit. They were established building blocks for this company. And it wasn't just me. It was these guys. Those few men, count on maybe 2 hands. Peter Richards, the Enlightened One Buddha. Yes, that's his name, the Enlightened One Buddha. Badass wrestler or superstar who became a talent. And then you got Sergeant, the Sarge, who had his own company or his own faction called the Enders. They broke up, but that's a whole nother story nonetheless. But these guys are building blocks. And they helped create the company and what it is. They sold for the company. They put their heart into this. Long hours. We had a lot of long nights. Lots of arguments.
8-hour call.
Of
that's a long time.
Yeah. But this is where the second thing comes in, Tom. And And that's where I'm going to get, because I know exactly where you're going, and that's exactly what my vision's always been. The community itself. So you got the backyard wrestling industry, okay? You got the underground wrestling. There's a lot of guys that come on here that can't talk to save their life. They can wrestle pretty good, but they can't talk to save their life. And I know it aggravates people like you. It aggravates people like
I
me.
think because they take up people's time that want to be here, and we have to give them the spot because we're all wrestling matters, and they want to be here. And it's annoying, honestly.
So one vision I have, and with your abilities and what you could do, and other people like maybe even Sean Jovi, maybe we could get a lot of these guys who want to work on character development for the backyard. They don't have to be a part of the 2K stuff, but they could join the server. And I know you're going to share those links, and I hope that you do. Everybody
Yeah.
is welcome into the server. And what we want to do is get these guys to come together. If you want to do character development, guys like Sean Jovi's going to be in there. I'm going to be in there whenever I can, because this is becoming the light. And there's going to be other people, and you can learn to cut promos.
Oh,
You
and
can
I
learn
think
to talk.
anybody that's in the community, if you're a wrestler, come on down. If you're a fan, you watch. I mean, I think it should be an open invite to anybody that wants to be. I'm going to put the Instagram up page in a second, but I think anybody that wants to be involved. I mean, now, do people have to buy the 2K24 game? Let the
No.
audience know on that. So what? So
No.
what? So how does this work for them to play in the game and be involved? People have been asking me this question.
We're waiting for season 5 because we got a lot of stuff that's because of me selling the company and getting the right guys in. I'm doing some training now. There is another guy that's going to be joining. I saw him comment a little bit ago, Mr. Lone Wolf. Yes, we got some unfinished business. Trust me, that hasn't been forgotten, Mr. Lone Wolf, little puppy dog. But nonetheless, he's also a 2K creator, and he's really good at what he does with that. And somebody like Sean Jovi, who has a passion for it himself, he's even started his own little 2K thing.
He plays the game. That's why
something.
Sean, to me, and we're joined by another person who plays these games. He's actually a very, very well-known streamer on Twitch, and a man that you shared a locker room with, James, who I'm sure you're very happy to be with once again. My friend, and hopefully your friend, Armageddon Shane Davidson. And I think that this is a great thing for the community. This is another thing we can use as a way to bring also the promo people in there, because I don't know a lot of this stuff. I got to be honest. I don't think this is something that's a hands-on thing for me. I would like to let the professionals run it. But hearing that they had an 8-hour call about this, I mean, that's shows you the dedication that everybody has in this. So I think to keep that going and also expand it to some of the people here that might be streamers or might want to be involved, or maybe help different people that really want to be here. I think it's a great thing to have. And Shane Davidson, he's a very active streamer on Twitch as well. And Shane, how you doing?
There's certain guys who have actually come back from this. Look at the comment, Mr. Tom, at what Creepy Leech said. He owes. I owe a lot to James. He said.
Right here. Yes, my 2K league wouldn't exist if it wasn't for James. Yes.
Go and follow Creepy Leech. It's actually Red Dead Leech. If he wants to put it in here, he's more than welcome to.
If he puts it up, I'll put his YouTube channel up. Yep.
This guy, no, his Twitch, because he has built a following of over 2,000 followers on Twitch.
I got to do better on Twitch.
Yeah. And that's because he went from what I do and made it his own. He doesn't do the production like I do, but he found a shtick that actually works for him and his company. And he has a successful Discord as well. So definitely go check him out. Red Dead Leech on Twitch. I think that's what it is. If I'm wrong,
well,
Leech,
if he wants to give me the link, I'll put the Twitch up because I have Twitch. Obviously I can do that. This is the PWF Instagram page, which, by the way, the Instagram page, we got a whole bunch of followers since I took over. How about that? We gained like 40-something followers because we're obviously using an active page here. But that's what we're here for.
So that's basically the gist of it. If there's anybody out there that's in the backyard wrestling community, and I want to do this with my ROEW guys too. Any of you guys that feels like you're struggling to actually talk and you want to maybe have some character development, or maybe you feel you have the character but you want to find that confidence to cut a promo, call the boss and I'll help you out. If you got ideas, pitch them to me and I'll see what I could do to help you with that. And if I can't find out, I definitely know some people that could probably point you in the right direction, but I feel pretty confident in what I could do.
And Shane Davidson, how you doing tonight? Because I think we have somebody that actually wants to learn about the PWF right here, and his name is James. And Shane, what's the deal? So what do you see yourself here in terms of being involved in this? I know you're on Twitch as well, and what do you see in terms of what you'd like to do?
I just want to help people like better their craft and want to make sure people can actually understand the fundamentals of wrestling, the psychology of the ring, and helping them learn their ring awareness just to help them better themselves.
All right. Well, I mean, every little bit helps for sure. Definitely.
And James, what brings you here for a few minutes? Obviously, what brings you here, and what has brought you into why you'd like to be involved in the PWF? And thank you very much for your interest. That's good to see we have people here and such.
Well, thank you for having me on the show.
I appreciate that.
I actually went and saw a venue, I guess you could call it, a DBW venue this last weekend, and I thought it was great. I mean, the energy there was high.
The anniversary show, right?
Yes. It was very nice, man. I love the energy about it. It was just fun, It's definitely something that I could see myself, dipping my toes into.
Well, I'd like to, obviously, with the Promo Wrestling Federation, we have a lot of very, very well established, gamers, and they know a lot of things. And it would be a hope that Shane would be one of the trainers, if I could, obviously with James staying on as chairman emeritus, that maybe Shane would be one of these trainers or one of these people alongside Sean Jovi and anybody else that's a wrestler that we could open that up to. I think that would be, Shane, where I might see you coming from with this, because I don't have the experience in the gaming world with this, admittedly, but
you don't
I'd
have
like
to. You actually don't have to have experience with it, Tom. You being what you are already with what you do, because you're a natural at what you do with the talking and promoting and everything. You don't have to be experienced in the gaming world. All you have to do is know wrestling, and you do know wrestling, whether you want to admit it or not. You might not know what it really takes to be in the ring.
I don't know.
But
I think it depends. It depends on what state you're in, I would say. What state would say that? Probably the case. But, Shane, anything else you'd like to add? Because I do want to say hello and get to a lot of comments about the PETA, because a lot of people that want to talk about this one. Anything else you want to say, Shane? And maybe this is a way that could help you in terms of just showing the people what you can bring to the table again.
Not currently at the moment right now. And I don't have
anything. Well, that's a good enough reason for me to go read some comments, because I got a lot of comments I'm way behind on, and I want to get to some people here. Also here, let me come back to people. Good evening from Justin Parsley. Justin Parsley is our only 3-time Hall of Famer. I think CJ Black had a funny line. Copy and paste that comment from me, Zilla. That was kind of funny. Hey, Peter Richard, you and Buddha sure did. I had a fun story with you both in the PWF. Thank you, Sarge. I appreciate that. I think you addressed Lone Wolf. Obviously, Skippy laughed at that one. I think we played the Peter comment. I want to say a little Wicked One Judas. I have to say, if it wasn't for PWF and it wasn't for James Taylor, there would be no Wicked or no Wicked One Judas. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Memories right there, Peter. Don't forget those therapy sessions for some of our talent. And clearly, Sarge is more popular than Triple H and Stephanie in that one.
Yeah,
we really hope
had a lot of guys.
Well, Skip, between your fame, Skippy's fame, Sarge's fame, we really hope you can make it at Summer Bash. That's to Skippy. The cowardly champion Skippy is here. Glad to see the damn clown isn't running away. And there's Zilla copy and pasting. I want to say hello to our guest next Sunday night, the legendary Mr. Hardcore, of course, from the legendary GWC days. And certainly it'll be Mr. Copper Dragon, the man that's rated CJ Black 7 stars, and says he wants to thank you, James Taylor, for all of you in the wrestling war. I think we played Creepy's comment. Our friends in the IMF would like to say Omen and Soldier were tag team. Are they still tag champs? What's the situation there?
So the tag team division is actually kind of faltered because we didn't have a lot of people for a while to where everybody wanted to focus on their singles career. Nobody really wanted to team up. And it was hard to do that. We had very few tag teams, and Omen and Soldier dipped their toes in it. and was a part of it for a couple of months, and they became the PWF World Tag Team Champions and held it until everything just kind of died out for a little while, and that was around the end of season 3, beginning of season 4. So, but I mean, hey, they're more than welcome to dip their feet back into it, especially with Sean Jovi being involved, and he already has their characters and stuff. That's something that we're going to be talking about pretty soon.
Yes, we are. We are. And obviously, Lone Wolf, I never run away from a fight. I was just busy on beating James Taylor in the ring. Trust me, that choke slam from PWF Accelerate is where it started with me and you 1 year ago. You was IMF. I missed that, to be honest. Omen and Soldier, you were part of the War Games, and I was happy about that. There's Zilla copy and pasting. Zilla seems to copy and paste a lot of comments. I guess thank you. Thank you. I mean, we appreciate the dedication. Out of character, if it was not for Creepy Leech and James Taylor's match on YouTube or TikTok, I would have never joined. But you spoke about. I found that I could use my green screen to be different from others. It's very fun. Hello to the Lethal One. I want to say hello to you. That guy with that hat and trench coat looked familiar. LOL. And there's Zilla copy and pasting. Lethal, I'm holding your PWF championship warm in my arms. I mean PWF world champion. Those 8-hour plus phone calls, staff owners, at least one of us will always be your 2 a.m. therapist if you need, because PWF is one big family. Reminds me of my political campaigns I've been on, where we'd sit there at the candidate, and the candidate just wouldn't get off the phone, and that's why we lost. But that's a different conversation for a different time. Skippy, perfect records are meant to be broken. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, but that right there, in case anybody needs to know, that is the Lethal One, the lethal injection of PWF. He's a former PWF World Heavyweight Champion, and Skippy was the one that defeated him to become the new champion over 8 months ago.
Interesting there. And Peter Richards also wants to say, PWF pioneer different companies, KCW, NEW, not to be confused with NEW and Underground Wrestling, RKW, and so many companies. Everyone at one time was 100% and had fun. And I think that that's the spirit, and that's what we want to incorporate here. James, I might have Combat Joe reach out to you to help him with some talking and character work. And I think that if you're on Discord, I'm at Sportswire Radio on Discord. So if you are on Discord out there and you want to add me, I can probably connect you to James, and we can probably put you in the group. Because I think, James, you still have a mid-power for the group. I don't think I can add in the group yet. So we'll fix that. Oh, I can? Okay. I didn't check. Understand one thing, Skippy, just like James, you're running high too, passing the torch to whoever is sad enough to take what you have to offer and facing me. I'm loving this tonight. Shake his hand and looks as lethal as he holds the chair in his hand. You understand I've blown up the car and set on fire, and okay, that's nothing compared to what the Lethal One, boy. This is getting fun. Also, hello to Drake Golddragon, who's going to be in the house next week. Looking forward to that. James Taylor is a crooked booker and awful for business. 0 out of 10. I would know. I used to run a company. That's, of course, the Cyclone. Jason Storm. Yeah, you don't like him?
Do you see that, Jason? I want you to see that and understand.
Well, what does that mean? I don't know what that means. I don't know, James.
Your opinion, Jason, doesn't matter, and you don't run jack shit. I run shit now. You're my employee, and you will do everything I say, because if you don't, I will come up to Michigan, put my fist in your mouth and my foot in your fat, bald ass. Myself.
James Taylor is firing tonight. He is firing. The numbers all of a sudden just dropped up big time because James Taylor is hot. He is hot, hot, hot. And
you better be worried about Alex Cross at Weekend Warfare, because the kid might be grinning, but he's going to be mowing your ass.
Alan Michaels, you sure you want to stay on this stream tonight? Because James Taylor just went wild. I mean, he's got the trigger and he's trigger happy. James, are we showing up playing like Left 4 Dead or Gears of War rather than WWE 2K the way you were just now?
I don't know. I don't care. I hate a bastard who wants to come in, act like he knows shit when he clearly doesn't. He sits there and he hides over there in his little chicken shit farm or wherever the hell he's from after selling the company to me. He's too much of a chicken and a coward to face me like a man and say, thank you, James, for buying the company because I screwed up. Well, you know what, Storm? You're welcome. And now I present Alex Cross to you at Weekend Warfare. And that kid, he might be green as grass, but he's going to mow your ass, I promise you.
Oh, boy. You know, it's getting interesting today. Alan Michaels, good to see you, my brother. And Alan is going to be one of the people, I think, helping out in PWF because he plays the game as well. So we got Alan, if you're on Discord at Sportswire Radio, I'm on. We'll add you to the group. We're having big things, and I'm looking forward to it. I mean, we're getting everybody involved. It's what it's all about. D'Angelo LaFlame, I think, is another one of the people you might see in it. Of course, D'Angelo LaFlame, the man that Jack Delta is certainly obviously knows a lot about. He's kind of the version right now of Jack Delta outside of ROEW, and he's everywhere at TBW. And you wrestled him, by the way.
Hey,
Alan,
that's my guy.
You know, your guy, but you didn't beat him for the Resurrection Internet title.
Hey, it's all love, though. That's all love.
No, we love no, but you guys, what a match, by the way. What a great match. Loved, obviously, you guys embracing afterwards. You could just tell you the battle of the talk show host. And boy, it was certainly one that I'm going to remember for a long time. And what a great opener. I could not think of a better opening match for the greatest backyard and underground wrestling show in history. Anniversary 7. Over 3,000 people already have watched that show, and you opened it with D'Angelo LaFlame. I would say right now, for my money, two of the hottest wrestlers in the backyard and the underground is the trendsetter Alan Michaels and the energy of wrestling D'Angelo LaFlame. You beat Jay Wild, who was here last week. You could have beat Atomic Titan, and maybe you should have beat him. And you obviously are just everywhere right now. I mean, I think that was, again, maybe the greatest opening match in backyard and underground wrestling history. I mean, it just speaks volumes that you're here and a part of this. Anthony Steele, a man James Taylor, you got lots of history with, and I'm sure you're going to see him very soon. But I know you got a couple of things you want to say first. Hello to my buddy, Mr. Ace Reed of the Wired Up podcast. Ace, how are you doing? Alex Cross, and he kind of laughed. Because there cannot be no other way. LOL, Jason Storm. There is only one man I'm worried about at Weekend Warfare, and it isn't Alex Cross. I wonder what that means.
It's probably the toilet.
Well, you know what? I'm going to plead the fifth on that because Xavier Thorne was on the toilet last month on this platform, so you leave the toilet comments out for now. James running that mouth again. A warning to the new owner, board of directors. Do not piss me off, James. Just because you run away doesn't mean we're finished yet. Skippy, we're not finished yet. Thank you. I appreciate the good heads up. What's up, James M? Just met you Saturday. So, James, you met Atomic Titan. And what was the Atomic Titan like in real life? I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Now I hear you.
He was awesome. You know, he was awesome. He was a great guy. You know, like I said, you know, the show was awesome. You know.
Did you meet Alan, by the way? Alan wrestled D'Angelo. Did you get a chance to say hello to Alan?
I believe so. I believe so.
You guys, is a familiar face, Alan?
That is a familiar face.
Alan, did you expect this tonight? That all of a sudden we would see people that you actually saw in real life? I mean, this is really all wrestling matters, huh? This is figuratively and literally what all wrestling matters is about. You guys see each other. You probably never thought you'd see each other again. I'll never see him again. And here you guys are live with 40-plus people watching around the world. Live right now.
It's great. You know, all wrestling matters. All fighting matters because, you know, this guy down here, you know, he's a fighter, man.
Oh, so tell us a little bit about, so you fight, huh? Do you fight verbally? Do you fight physically? I mean, what do you actually do that would say you're a fighter? Tell the audience right now.
I guess
don't be shy. We're live. We're live. This is the premier platform for backyard and underground wrestling. This is the premier place. There's no other place like this one. I mean, you can go somewhere else, but there is nothing like this one. We're in prime time on the brightest lights of the biggest stage. So tell us, a little bit about you.
Well, man, I'm a boxer.
Oh, wow.
I've been boxing since I was 8 years old. I'm 24 now. You know, I competed as a teenager heavily, you know, from 10 to 18, you know.
You want to be the enforcer of Sportswire Radio?
Hey, you know, if the pay's there, you know.
I don't know if there's no payolas in radio, but I'm sure we could certainly have you on the show more often. I don't know what.
Well, that would be awesome. That'd be awesome. I don't I don't fight as much now. I'm more of a trainer, myself.
Okay.
I have a few fighters that I train. But yeah, I think my official amateur record, 33-3.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Oh.
Uh,
Oh. Well, can I ask the question live, James? We're live. I think I'm going to ask this question. A guy like that, 33-3. I mean, you do realize that there have been boxers and other athletes that have made this transition into the wrestling world. Obviously,
Yes.
James is the owner of ROEW. He's the greatest backyard underground wrestling owner in this circuit. I mean, Alan Michaels is the man that just wrestled in the greatest backyard underground wrestling show in history. And Shane Davis, chopped liver, he wrestled Jack Delta. I mean, he wrestled in the semi-main event right before season finale last year. You got some heavy hitters right now on this platform. I mean, are you maybe going to say to the world that maybe you like to step foot this time in the wrestling ring?
I think that's definitely what I'm saying, and that's one of the reasons that I came on tonight was to,
Oh, really? So tell me why. Tell me more. Tell me more, huh?
I'm actually going to start training here soon. From some of the heavy hitters you just mentioned, and I'll leave it at that. I'm going to stay humble.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much. So we're going to be seeing a little more from you, huh?
Yes, for sure.
So to quote LL
In the
Cool
near
J,
future.
to quote LL Cool J, my brethren, this time from the borough of Queens in New York City, don't call it a comeback, right? I've been here for years, right?
I guess you could say that. I just want to test my hand.
The Ripper strikes back, huh? The Ripper strikes back. That should be your nickname, the Ripper. You go out there and you look like a Ripper right now. You look like a Jack the Ripper. I mean, obviously that was a famous LL Cool J song for the rap. I know some guys are like, boy, he's really gonna bust out rhymes again. No, I'll save that for Wrestlers Court maybe. But yeah, that was a spoiler there. Stay tuned later on. But maybe that would be your name, Jack the Ripper.
Jack the Ripper. Hey,
Jack the Ripper.
We'll see.
Where will you be training? Apparently, Mr. Titan asked. Is that something you're at liberty to, say to the audience, or maybe rather not? Maybe rather not.
Not yet. Like I said, I want to stay, quiet about it until I'm officially, ready.
Are you sure? Because apparently there is a promotion I would think that you could be training out of, right? Tennessee. You went to a show, or maybe I shouldn't bring that up, right? Don't say who it is. Nah.
Not yet.
Okay.
I want to make sure that everything's in line,
Okay.
But
how about let me ask you one more question, because I'm going to let you go in a minute.
Sure.
Are you boxing still? Is your boxing career still going on?
I still train. I still train 4 times a week. I still keep my body in shape. I'm not really boxing anymore competitively. So,
well, I'll tell you what, we might need you with some different people that come on this platform. You might want to box them and maybe,
I'm always open for it though, because I always keep my hands sharp, always.
Well, I have no doubt about that. You could probably punch me in the mouth, and I'm sure some people might be happy. And Mr. Titan says maybe train at TBW. Who knows, right?
Hey, maybe, we'll see. We'll see in the near future.
Well, you know what? We'll certainly see what happens. I hope that if you are a gamer, you want to be involved in the Promo Wrestling Federation, we're opening it up. Alan and Shane are going to be a part of it, and James is still involved, and we're going to have Sean Jovi and many of the other wrestlers. We have a Discord page, so if you're on Discord, we're at Sportswire Radio. James is at Taft Taylor, and, check us out, and I'm going to put the PWF page back up on Instagram and YouTube, and send me your Instagram off the air, and maybe we'll bring you on this platform soon.
All righty. Hey, that sounds great.
All right. Well, that was James M. And thank you, James, and whoever that might be. And maybe we'll see him again, James. But good to see you, gentlemen, all 3 of you. And is there anything else, James, we should know about the PWF for our audience before, we move on to some other events?
I mean, the PWF is what it is, and that's a community that helps people find satisfaction in the wrestling world the way it should be. Even if you can't physically be a part of it, in a way you can make friends here too. There's people that have, I've seen a lot of guys come and go just like you would in any wrestling business, and politics can be involved, but at the end of the day, fairness is fairness, and that's what it's supposed to be. and it's entertainment. We're supposed to have fun, and that's all I've ever fucking wanted. I'm sorry if that was too much, but I mean that's all I've ever wanted in
No,
this
James.
business is to be.
Tell us how you feel, James. Tell us how you feel.
Well,
Listen,
I'm probably going to hurt some people's feelings. I might not. That people might be like, okay, cool. So I just gonna go ahead and get it off my chest because you had the night the other night, a couple of nights ago. Everybody was on here venting their frustrations, talking about the people who don't want to be a part of this community, and talking about the people that do. And all those guys that do want to be a part of this community, I got my hat off to them, and I respect them. Guys like Dark Cron from DKW. He's an old head like me from the Old Testament days. You got Copper Dragon. All these guys that are part of PWF, but like as far as the backyard world, politics, they're necessary to an extent, but they're not necessary. But one thing I want to get off my chest has to deal with Resurrection and TBW. And I'm going to get it off my chest so we can just squash this shit once and for all because I'm tired of it. I'm tired of thinking about it. I'm tired of worrying about it. I'm tired of just it, period. All I've ever wanted is peace. All I ever want to do when I get on the screen is entertain folks. We just had probably 30 freaking people in here talking. I don't know how they are on the other platforms watching. I don't know how many people you got watching
I
right
don't
now.
think they're getting that on the. I think people know that this is a platform that people, the word they know to come here. They know this is the only home that we have it here with.
There's a bunch of guys that play wrestler, and there's a bunch of guys, or there's very few guys that love being a wrestler.
Well, what do you mean by that? Shane and you have
Oh.
obviously shared a locker room together. Explain that. What do you mean?
So you get some guys, like you had an individual a couple of days ago. No offense, good kid, I'm sure. He's over there in his own little company in North.
We're talking
South,
about in North
wherever.
Dakota, right? Legendary
Yeah, and
backyard.
I said a comment in there a few times saying, trying to get him to say something and see if I could get him fired up just by a comment, and it didn't happen. I'm like, what are you going to do to that guy? Why didn't you just beat his ass for climbing up that ladder? You can clearly see that it's all about putting on little spots that don't make a down. They're not selling. There's no character work. They're just playing wrestler because it's cool. You get guys that are part of that Triple W, guys who did injuries and did dumb shit that have no business being.
Well, that was our
business.
guest last night, Van Hansen, who owns a wrestling ring. He's a trained wrestler. He talked about in a neutral perspective what he saw from what Silver Wolf had commented. He heard about the backyard brawl, and he was like, his opinion was basically like, be the positive. These guys have given you chances. Try to improve. You and Shane's trained. I mean, Shane has, gone out there and done things. And there are people, unfortunately, that I do agree with you, come here and, they don't really belong out there. I don't want to go that far about legendary backyard wrestling. I don't think it's fair on them.
Yeah, and I'm not talking just about them, really. I mean, it's just I didn't believe them. And you can clearly tell they're good. They're being safe. I'll give them that. They're having fun. But it's like, okay, just do that. If you're going to do it. Just be safe about it. But then you get the reckless some bitches like Loose Cannon and all
Loose
them
Cannon,
doing the stupid shit that they did. Yeah. You talked about it. You addressed it. We all already know the story.
We're done with him. He's dead.
Well, this is my opinion on that. You've got no business doing this at all if you, untrained or you don't study your shit, you have no passion. You're just wanting to gloat. Look at what I did. And then you get the people who want to play politics who say, you know what, because I didn't do this in this company, I'm going to go create me one and make me champion. Because they hate the fact that they can't become champion. If that's the case, because this is
you said something interesting just now, and I want to piggyback off that. And you said something about old heads, right? You just mentioned the word old heads. And you just mentioned guys that go out and make themselves champions, right? Guys that, maybe they're in different feds out there, and maybe they had some experience in the independents, and then they decided that maybe they wanted to start a fed, whether it's backyard, underground, I don't know what it is. And I'm going to ask you a question. You've been in this game a long time. Wow. You're back in ROEW. You're in power. You had to stay in TBW. You were a well-established player in TBW. I'm going to ask you something that I don't know how you're going to take this, but I'm curious on your perspective. There's a movement right now, let's kick the ballistics, called All Wrestling Matters, which is in a lot of ways trying to maybe unelect or maybe declutter some of the politics going on here in the wrestling world.
Yeah.
Maybe try to give everybody an open platform to try to have the best wrestle the best, or people that would maybe open doors, bring back the territories, you might want to say, quote unquote, as even Joshua Allen, a man that certainly you worked alongside with for quite a bit in Tennessee. And I'm going to ask you this question. Do you think that there are outside forces, or even in a way without even knowing it, different feds that are seeing what's going on out here, and maybe they're interpreting right now that we're kind of living in the backyard and underground wrestling version of the Monday Night Wars? Do you think that that's what's going on, or about to go on right now? Because that's what I'm kind of getting the temperature right now. There are feds outside of who regularly come on here, and there are feds within who comes on here regularly. And there are those that have kind of seen what feds who come on here, and they've openly wanted to be here and are here. And then there are feds outside of who regularly comes on here. And I don't know, I can't speak on behalf of anyone because I'm not a wrestler, I'm not a booker, I'm not a promoter, I'm not any of those things. But you can, I'm sure, answer this. Do you think that from outside forces of this movement we're all building with the Promo Wrestling Federation, the All Wrestling Matters, people talking to each other from other places, that we're starting, maybe without even knowing it, the Monday Night Wars in the backyard and the underground? What do you think on that?
You know, possibly. Maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's not. But I mean, you can only piss somebody off so many times before they go off and they do something else that's probably going to be better, and that could be bad news for you, whoever's watching. But let me say a couple of things. Number one, I had a political issue inside TBW, Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. So I'm gonna put my dad voice on for a minute. I like a lot of the guys. I'm gonna make this so everybody hears me clearly. There's a lot of men inside Tennessee Backyard Wrestling that I have respect for, that I respect a lot, that I appreciate, that I had a good time working with. One of those guys is Jay Wild. And of everybody that I've ever worked with inside Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, he is the only guy that still keeps in contact with me and just, hey, James, you doing all right? Just checking on you. Just want you to know I hate the way things have gone, but I still respect you and I still like to work with you. We're still thinking about you. Me and my kid miss you and your wife, and I hope you're good, and I see him as a friend. Out of character, breaking kayfabe, Jay Wild is a very respected man. Somebody like Jack Delta can even appreciate that because he said he was one of the best matches he had. He was one of the best matches that I had too. The very last match I had inside Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. There are guys that was like a sponge. And as much
you
as I
worked
would
with
like to
Shane
give him all of the
Davidson. He
credit,
was one guy you got along with. Shane Davidson, my buddy right here.
I'll get to that in a second. Yes. Russell Cooper. Russell Cooper might not be the cream of the crop. He might not be everybody's favorite. But one thing I got to give him is the fact that he was probably the spongiest of sponge. I call him the SpongeBob of the backyard because every time I showed up, this man would come to me and say, dude, I'm a dummy. Slam me. Show me something. I want to try something.
Worked his way up,
anything.
right? Ref to a world champion. Absolutely. Couldn't agree with
And
you more.
I said you could go places. He learned, and eventually he became world champion. Whether it was believable or not, it doesn't matter. You could tell he has fun when he's in the ring. Whether he likes me or not, I don't care. But I'm showing my the things I noticed about him and that I respect about him. There's politics, without saying really a few names, that did not agree with ideas that I had, and I didn't agree with ideas that they had. One reason that a match didn't happen between the Ledger Shade, who you had on here one time.
I was the greatest
guy.
show. I think it's the moment that really, I think, kind of really put this platform on a whole nother level. I think him coming here, he was the greatest endorsement that this platform has had. I'm going to say it. I can say it. I don't care who it offends. My money, what he did, he came here. He didn't go anywhere else. That was maybe the shot heard round the world. They're still talking about that. Still talking about it.
So there was a matchup that could have potentially happened, and it wasn't just because of me, and it wasn't because of Ledger. It was because of the politics. I had an idea, he had an idea, but it was told that this is the way it should go, and it just didn't work out. So I left. It is what it is. I didn't.
And he left right after. He was going after you, right? He was 150, and that was it.
Exactly. Not only that, not only the fact because it didn't work out, he even left. And here it is. Here's a little spoiler. It might not make some people happy, but the guy talks to me every now and then too.
Wait a minute. Wait. Time out a second. James Taylor, I know you're the greatest backyard underground wrestling owner in this circuit right now, but you mean to tell me that you speak to the backyard underground wrestling Hulk Hogan and the Shade, the Ledger Shade? You speak to him?
Not every single day, no. I mean, but I do talk to him, maybe once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. But I mean, he'll talk to me, he'll say something, I'll say something back to him, and then that's it. It's like he's literally like a Shade. He disappears. But
he's like the Shredder almost.
Turtles
fan. He's like the Shredder almost.
He has my contact info, and I've got his contact info.
And you speak to him. Wow.
So, that being said, it's beside the point. I don't hate Tennessee backyard wrestling. Let me make it clear. I hated the fucking bullshit politics that went on inside a company like Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. It is what it is. They've got the following they got. Kudos to them. They're doing a hell of a job. But if anything, they saw me. That's the way I see it. I could be wrong, but I feel the reason I wasn't in the main event status is because I'm a parody of somebody that some people like to say is a bald sumbitch from Texas. And that's all they saw me as. You cannot deny the fact that I've got in-ring ability in that ring. This isn't a character. I'm not going stone cold on you. It's the fact that no matter what I act like, no matter what I'm saying, when I'm in that ring, I'm safe as can be. I've never hurt a soul in that ring. I might look like I'm hurting somebody, but I've never broken nobody's neck. I've never cracked anybody's fucking skull open. I've never popped nobody's eyes out, broke their toes, broke their arms. I'm safe. Jack Delta can verify that. The Prophet J Wild can verify that. Hell, I wrestled for like maybe 5-10 minutes before J Wild. I messed with Shane Davidson, picked him up on my shoulders and gave him an attitude adjustment and didn't break his big ass neck. Did I, Mr. Shane? I took care of him. He showed me, he trusted me enough to my small frame to pick him up. And that's a guy that he listened very well, in my opinion. He's got probably training that I don't got. I'm self-taught. And that's something that makes a lot of guys upset too, is the fact that I'm self-taught. I study, I eat, sleep, breathe professional backyard underground wrestling more than anybody. Maybe because I love this business and I'm a student of the game. It doesn't matter who trains you. It's the fact on what you accomplish on being a respected individual.
So what are you saying,
in the
James
yard.
Taylor? So are you telling me that you want to be back in Tennessee backyard wrestling? What are you telling me?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
Okay.
So
tell me what you
I'm going back. I'm going back. Here we go. We got the match with Gage. Gage Flair. I had a fun time wrestling Gage Flair. Maybe me and him don't really see eye to eye when it comes to a lot of things. And whether he wants to admit it or not, he's got a big political role inside TBW. But nonetheless,
now, what do you mean by that?
What
do you mean?
What
by
do I
that?
mean by that? He has some say so. Okay, he has some say so whether certain things can happen inside TBW. But that's none of my business. It is what it is because he's been there, respected. He's been there for quite a long time, so he has every right to probably have.
Well, he's had a lot of success. Some would say, right?
Yeah,
he's had a lot of success. Some would say.
And I had a match with him. Here's the match that I had with him inside the makeshift ring, but it was fun. It was my second match back out of retirement. I'm very rusty still, but I'm still finding my groove. And he was man enough to say, I want to face you and I trust you enough. Called me the backyard legend, wanted to have a match with me, and I'd love to run another run with him. Do I say I want to go back to TBW? No. What's frustrating me is what happened in the past. But what I'm wanting to do with this whole situation is just clear the air. I don't hate TBW. I don't hate TBW.
I love
didn't like
TBW. I
I
mean,
didn't
people know
like
that.
some of the I didn't like some of the politics. It is
I
what it
could-
is, but I'm done with it. It's fine. Never say never. If the stars align, just like the old man says, if something was to happen, then maybe it can. But what really gets me is the hypocrites that are part of this Southern division. And that is another one with Resurrection Wrestling who works with TBW. Resurrection Wrestling, I like. I love probably 90% of the guys inside Resurrection
Ronnie
Wrestling.
Brady's here tomorrow night.
D'Angelo
We have him here.
LaFlame. D'Angelo LaFlame, I really like. I like Jack Spade. Jack Spade he's a hell of a character. I love it. Spooderman. You know, I've seen
How
a
about
lot
Cameron
of those guys.
Cage? Cameron Cage.
Cameron Cage. I wrestled Cameron Cage.
That's why I brought him up.
He gave me an awesome 10 minutes in the ring. It was fun as hell. He's another good kid that just is a sponge when it comes to taking in every single thing. Had a blast working with him. And then, of course, we all know the man, the Mr. Real Deal who brought me out of retirement, Anthony Steele.
He's back in
Anthony
Resurrection Wrestling. That's correct. He works there again.
I kind of want to label Anthony as a polarizing, controversial figure in the backyard and underground world. So
I would say though that would some say that he speaks a lot of truths.
he speaks a lot of truths, and that's why I got a lot of respect for him. He speaks a lot of truths.
I mean, he's one of the guys. I got to be honest. Say what you want. I'm going to let you finish, but some could say that he's also been a part of the movement because I feel like right now we're in a never before to this level type of emotion right now with everything you see here with us. But go ahead, floor is yours.
I'm sorry.
No, you got the floor. I gave you. I think my Wi-Fi cut out.
I'm almost done. It's the little controversial, like hypocrite problem I've got is the fact that everybody talked their trash on Anthony Steele. And then I get on a podcast with him because I do consider him a friend. I kind of almost in a sort of way consider him a little.
That was almost 4 months
brother.
ago. I remember it. Yep. That was a lot of people were talking about that almost 4 months ago. Yep. Go ahead.
And I was supposed to have a comeback in TBW. Here's the hypocrite part. I was told that my services were no longer needed instantly after that podcast because I was part of the podcast with TBW with Anthony Steele. But then I'm told a couple of weeks ago that it wasn't because of Anthony Steele. It was because I was talking trash on the company. I'm not talking trash on the company. I've always supported TBW. I came out of retirement for TBW. I pushed TBW as much as I can, and they can take all the credit they want for we got all these followers, we got all these subscribers. I brought you. Ledger brought you a lot. I brought you at least 2,000 or 3,000 of them
I think
myself.
Jack Delta helped a lot too. I think Jack Delta being there
helped a lot. Yes, you're damn right. You're absolutely right, Tom. But I'm told that it was because I talked shit. I didn't talk shit. I was pissed off about the situation that had happened. What hurt my feelings? Yeah, I'm going to say it. It got in my feelings. Was that without warning, your service was no longer needed. What the fuck? Why? And then you give me the two bullshit reasons. And now Anthony Steele's back in Resurrection Wrestling. He's on podcast with guys in TBW. He's talking with guys in TBW. But yet, everything seems like it's the way it was. Does it piss me off? What pisses me off isn't that I'm not included. No. What pisses me off is that it's like a hypocrite thing. The issue I had inside Resurrection Wrestling was over $10 fucking. I went to a match with Cameron Cage. I was promised a certain amount of money.
Correct? Are we talking about last summer?
Yes, I would have paid them $10 or $20 to have the match. I didn't know. They offered me money. And then you see all these guys around me getting paid 20, 40, 60 bucks a pop. And then they're like, here, Taff, here's 10 bucks. What's this about? I was told later, and I find out a couple of weeks ago, that it's because my wife came and our friend Gage came, not Gage Flair, a different Gage, out of this industry. But anyways, I had two guests that came with me, and that what I was supposed to get paid came out of their ticket. If I was running a venue, I'm sure IMF, I don't know if I'm not speaking for IMF. I don't know if they do this, but I mean, I'm pretty sure if IMF goes, they don't charge the talent to come into their own show. They don't charge the talent's family to come into the own show. They charge everybody else who comes in as fans. You see WWE superstars. You see people make it like Seth Rollins' mom and dad. Are they paying? Is The Rock's mom and dad
I
paying
would
to
have.
come in
I
there?
would
Front
imagine
row
no. I
WrestleMania?
don't.
Yeah.
I don't. I
It-
don't.
it's
I don't
it's the
know.
fact that that's what pissed me off about that, and because I talked shit when I didn't on TBW, so they wanted nothing to do with me because I was associated with Anthony. They didn't want nothing to do with me, and then here we are. Here we are in the fact that Anthony Steele is back in Resurrection Wrestling. Anthony Steele is doing what he does. And no disrespect to Anthony Steele because I love the guy. He's annoying as fuck, especially in character. But out of character, I appreciate and I respect the kid. I like him a lot. And yes, I'm venting now, but everybody else has gotten a chance to vent, so this is just what I'm getting off my
Well,
chest.
you know that
That's
there.
all it is at the end of the day.
Well, you know that Anthony is going to respond in a few minutes. He is going to have the floor. You know that. Right? I just
That's
want to let you
fine.
know. But I also want to tell you that I at liberty because Titan has a few things he'd like to address about that, and so does Ronnie Brady and some others, and they are friends of the platform, and I want to give them the same liberty. He says a few things, Mr. Titan. First of all, let me come back to this, and hello to you, Shane Davidson. He would like to say, Mr. Titan, first, that it wasn't because of the podcast, and you also said something about, did you need to be a world champion? Now, is that something that, again, I'm not at liberty to sign contracts or look at that. I can only read off the contract because I don't know the details with that, admittedly. What you see is what you get from me. So what would you like to say toward that?
Let's break the fourth wall and go ahead and get into it. Let's just go ahead and do it. So the fact that I was offered a world title shot, right, with the Ledger Shade, okay, and me and Ledger talked about what we could do with it and how we could go forth with it. But because I'm a part-time guy, there's no championship material inside a part-time guy. Shane Davidson, you go back, despite what they say, they're going to defend themselves all they fucking want. I'm not going against them, but the politics, this is why I hate, and this is where your question originally came from, Tom, about the Monday Night War thing. I'm going to spin to it right now. So you get guys who, if you're only working there part-time, you ain't going to be a world champion. But hell, you go to Brock Lesnar over in WWE, who goes there 4 months out of the year, and he can become world champion. Roman Reigns became world champion for over 1,000 days, and he was there barely a half the time. And so here's a part-time guy who can bring in views, who can bring in stuff. Do I not feel that I maybe deserve it? I don't want a title out of pity. I felt maybe I would deserve a championship or deserve a championship shot originally because of the fact of I'm bending over for the company. The company ain't paying me to come there. In their eyes, in some people's eyes, they're allowing me to be there. Okay. I don't have to show up. I'm showing up because I want to and I'm having fun. I'm spending $300 a round trip. I live 3.5 hours from Lafayette, Tennessee. I came up there willingly. Went through a lot of heartache, went through a lot of troubles, going there and coming back, and had a blast every time that I was there. But then I pitch an idea and I'm not offered it. And then I'm told, I know you're about to ask me. Then I'm told that I should have been patient. You know what? It is what it is. But here's where the old man joke is. I'm an old man. I don't know how much longer I got in this time. Maybe I'd like to have a world title run. But do I feel I deserve it? Yes. Do I need it? No. It is what it is. It's beside the point. He can talk all his shit that he wants.
Well, I'm going to let him have comments because he has a right, and I try to give everybody else. And I want to ask you, though, I mean, you obviously are focused with ROEW, correct?
So that's where that Monday Night Wars is coming. So I'm here to prove to the world why you can own a company and you don't have to make yourself world champion and you don't have to recycle the same 4 motherfuckers to be a world champion. I'm here to show why I'm going to turn backyard wrestling around in the best way that I can. And even if this is just a spark to start this industry to make it better than what it is, look at where we're going so far.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, this is with having these great things, but TBW, they're a part of the movement. They're here.
TBW is.
They are. And honestly, I want TBW to succeed more than maybe anybody else, because I think that they should honestly usurp ESW Shockwave. In my opinion, I'd like to see them do that. But I do want to ask
They
you,
might.
what if I think they will actually? I put a lot of money on TBW, and I think that a lot of people would bet on them too. But but TBW, what if they want to work with ROEW? Will you obviously work with them? How will that be? I mean, what if Resurrection wants to work with ROEW? Will you?
Because
How will you go
because
about
I'm a nice guy. Because I am who I am. And those who respect me know exactly what type of an individual and a human being that I am. Despite the political bullshit that there is, I open my door to anybody and everybody. Whether they hate me or not, I would still give my shirt off my back for them. Because
Hey,
that's
listen,
the type of guy that I
said
am.
Nemesis Sessions, Omen and Soldier came on, and here we are today. I mean, you gave the door, you opened it, you let Omen and Soldier in. I mean,
Yeah.
ask Omen and Soldier the same question. They said, "Yeah, I was on the Nemesis Sessions."
But
I
I
mean,
get my.
yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said I can't speak for what happened with you in those companies. I'll say it. I would love to see anybody work with anybody. The spirit is open collaboration. I wasn't in the locker room, so the only thing I can say is what I'd like to see. It doesn't mean it will. It's just like right now, there's an issue with things that were said about Mr. Judgment, and there was some pushback in the locker room of DBW. They were here, and some of their people did not like it, but that would be a question that I'm sure. Listen, in your chair, I'm sure Omen and Soldier are going to talk about it. They're going to definitely talk about it. I'm sure Chris Craven's going to talk about it, and Anthony Steele's going to be here in a few minutes, and he's going to talk to you. I mean, he's going to give his side of the story. Anthony's always here, and I'd like to get to some people, and I'm sure Shane Davidson wants to time it. Go ahead. Give me. You want to say something real quick, guy? Because I got a lot of comments from this. A lot of people. You got people fired up.
Read a couple of comments.
You
I
want to say
can
something?
own. Huh? Is if it was not for James Taylor, I would have never subscribed because I never knew about them.
Two
Yeah.
massive egos that didn't want to put each other over. That's why the match didn't happen. That's the facts there from that.
So let's talk about this guy, okay? Not all fat guys can sit there behind a fucking screen, behind a famous lie, and talk all their shit while they record a show. I liked you. You were a nice guy to me, but obviously true colors get formed, Tom, behind the scenes because they support what they do, blah, 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 this, blah, 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 that. Sit there and hide behind your screen because some of us know who you are. I figured out who you are. I'm not impressed by you, not anymore, because you just showed how much of a two-faced fucking liar that you are. You tell me you're a friend, you tell me you're a nice guy, but because of politics, it isn't because two massive egos didn't want to put themselves over. It's because two egos, two talents that bring in views that could have stole the entire backyard wrestling community, possibly. Not saying it did or would have, but
we'll never know, though,
possibly.
right? We'll never know, obviously.
We'll never know now, no, because you and others didn't like it. So y'all go on, do your thing. That's fine. I'm done right here. I love TBW. A lot of the talent in TBW. Alan Michaels, hell of a performer. I love Resurrection Wrestling. D'Angelo LaFlame, fucking great ass talent.
He's the guy that's trying to bring people together more than anybody else, aside from what I think Soldier and Omen have done, really. I mean, I think he's the one that's, going everywhere. He's won AWL. He's gone there. NEW in Massachusetts. I mean, TBW, he opened the show up. I mean, Resi and, he's opened a lot of doors. And I think that that's what the spirit is. And
Cameron Cage going on to face for the world championship. Well deserved. Let me say this about TBW. The Prophet Jay Wild, dear friend of mine, really, truly admire him. Great guy. He finally won the world title. The son of a bitch deserved it. Thank you, TBW, for seeing the light or the darkness that's about to unfold. That's the only reason I'll watch. I watch for other reasons like Joe Anderson. I watch guys like Russell Cooper and maybe even Manny Cobra. But there's some people
good old Manny Cobra.
Manny Cobra, he gave me my first match out of retirement.
I know. We watched it here on Sportswire. I think we did once upon a time. I know.
But he always showed me some respect. You know that?
No, if you can listen, I would hope that, listen, because TBW, I will say it, they are a part of the team, and I would love to see everybody work because I think you're in ROEW. I think Jack being a part of TBW, I would love to see that bridge. That's obviously all the stuff you're talking about in this particular case. You would have to ask each other. I wasn't in that room. I always tell people all the time, I'm not a booker, I'm not a promoter. I wasn't there in those things. I let people do that. What I call out is things I see from what I watch, and I give an opinion off that. But he would also like to say, Mr. Titan, Ledger talks so much shit about you and you don't even know, and he wouldn't lose to you. Maybe speak the facts. He was saying F you and a bunch of other things, and Ledger don't FW you at all. I don't know what FW is, but I think I get the point. I think he basically saying that some of the things you said were not factually correct. Ronnie Brady, who's our guest here tomorrow night, 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. I'm sorry that a small promotion can't afford to let people in for free.
Yeah.
Everyone pays, and if a talent gets people in, it's out of their PO. I guess it's pocket, right? If that's how it works. I've heard that in the British independent scene that guys will make a percentage off the amount of tickets that they sell. It's not the only thing I've heard out there, but that's what Ronnie would like to say. Also, the politics is you thinking that you should have been the world champion despite being a part-time flake that takes your ball and goes home anytime you won't get your way. Mr. Titan would like to say we gave you 3 shots at it, and
There
you
you go,
no-showed
folks.
or quit. Let's be real here. Each time was with Ledger, and 2 massive egos couldn't put it to the side and decide a winner.
And
Running
that's
a
why those
venue,
two egos aren't in the company
is
no
not
more.
cheap. I think that's a fair thing. Anthony's
Understandable.
going to come on. Can we get James and the TBW guys on and hash this out? I mean, that's a question that I think a lot of people would like to see everybody hash it out. I mean, that's a question that I would have to ask you and have to ask the guys in TBW. I wouldn't be able to
At
comment
this
on that.
point, no, it doesn't matter because at this point, I just wanted to vent it out, and I'm done with it. I'm officially done. It is what it is. It's in the past, and it's gone. I'm done with it. It's fine. I don't hate nobody.
Okay.
I'm here to prove a point now. Now I own a company, and I'm running it the way a company should be ran, fairly. And despite what anybody wants to say and throw their little shit at me because that's all they got on me, that's fine. Hell, if anything, I'm a talent, and this is why I created what I've got with PWF, and now you own it, Tom, because I know how to run shit.
Well, I'm very excited about IMF, and I want to get to IMF. Companies out there that don't see that coming together and working together, they're just plain stupid. Yeah, before we came along, backyard feds didn't really work with each other. There was some travelers, Jack Delta, Anthony, Aaron Blaze. I would throw in there Aaron Blaze. Titan has traveled at times. There have been very few, you want to say, I really hate saying his name, but, Jackson Law was a traveler. There was a handful of guys here and there, but I think with IMF, DKW, WC, you having them on your platform and then them coming here, I think did in a lot of things, do that. WFEW, I think this is Tyler Ark, Promo Wrestling Federation. You need to be joining the class and learning promo skills before you join anything else. I traveled from California to hang out with a friend and fulfill a bucket list wish. And Ledger had a hissy fit that he wasn't featured. That's his what he said, and that's what he would like to say. Ledger brought in views, yet we have the same views now. Thanks to our TikTok and us promoting our program so much, we've gained subscribers. Many of the videos was because of Josh and LM that blew up. And that's been talked about. And he put sarcastic on the first part of his post. He had a smiley face. So is that a smiley face? And D'Angelo the Flame had some laughs. And companies do deserve to be ran fairly. Everyone deserves a chance. I'm with you on that. Yeah, I think that's the movement that we're trying to create. I want to get to Shane before I get to Anthony. I know Anthony's going to talk, but I got to give Shane a shot. But I think that's really, what we're trying to put together. And I think that, to me, and again, I hope that it works out with you. And if TBW, I think you're focused on ROEW. But what I'd like to say is that, to me, there are companies that want to be here, and there are companies that say they want to be here. My money, though, again, nobody tells me anybody knows.
Oh.
Nobody tells me what to think. From my mind, TBW and Resurrection have been up there in terms of supporters for what I'm believing in, what I try to put out there. IMF, WC, DKW, I put them like in an umbrella. Goes without saying. NEW Underground Wrestling lately, they've been with us. Resi and TBW, I can't say enough from my vantage point on what they've done for us here. I think that there are other places out there that have come on here, and I think it's been documented. My point at the end of the day is that there are people that want to say they're a part of All Wrestling Matters, and there are companies that say it, but they don't think they mean it to what we're building here. And I think that TBW, Resurrection Wrestling, IMF, WCE, DKW, I think UWA has worked with us here on Sportswire. Their guys have been good recently. I think that NEW, Underground Wrestling, TF Crew, Gabe Sayers, and GTS goes without saying. I would hope, James, and I said it 4 months ago, and I say it every time you come on this show, I would love to see you back in TBW, but that's a question that's up to you and your God, and that's a question for those guys to decide. I can't get in the middle of that because I wasn't there when all the stuff that you talked about happened. What I'd like to say is that I think that you should go anywhere you want. ROEW is also right at the center of that. ROEW to me is alongside IMF, DKW, WCE, NEW, Underground Wrestling, TBW, Resurrection, all DF Crew, all these other places that come here. So at the end of the day, I'm happy that you're in my umbrella. You're on my team any day of the week, and you're my friend. And there are guys in TBW that are my friends. I can't speak on what happened, and I'm just, that's what I want to go with.
Tom, I don't want you to take from this at all that I'm trying to turn you against TBW.
You ain't turn James. You know me. Nobody turns me. Listen, I want to put to bed on that. DBW. They promoted my platform on their big show Apocalypse, right? Cyrus, Chapter 3, all the great things. And I still spoke my mind about what I thought was that there was an attempt to have a thing here called Summer Bash.
Yeah.
And there were people, particularly the group Ego and Mr. Judgment, that kind of rebuffed Soldier GP and Omen Black. And they rebuffed the movement here. And I called a spade a spade. Some of their guys did not like it. They claimed I was trashing their company. There was no trashing their company. I spoke about 4 individuals. So I hear you. Nobody tells me what to think. Listen, I said what I said about XCW. I talked about Jack Delta's running Beach. Nobody pays me. Nobody. If we're really shooting, I don't think there's anybody that on their time goes out and does more for people. So nobody tells me what to think. I make my own mind up. My mind says is that I would love to see you work anywhere you decide. You're in ROEW. You're a part of the umbrella of All Wrestling Matters. TBW and Resurrection Wrestling are a part of the umbrella, and they're some of my bigger supporters, alongside the likes of IMF, WCE, DKW, UWF, TF Crew. UWF, the Mikey Anarchy version, not the one that you saw at Scorpion. He supports, but I mean the TF Crew, UWF, NEW umbrella. Those are companies that I would put in there. You want to put Legendary Backyard Wrestling, you referenced Napalm, the interview, but the point is that those are things that I see of support. So, Shane, do you want to say something? I got to give you this book because Anthony comes on. You're going to have very little time to speak because he's going to have a lot to say. I'm just warning you. So would you like to say something, Shane?
I just want to say, there's a lot of stuff that's been going around between me and TBW and all that jazz. And, I want to do something that not a lot of people can do, and it's admit their wrongs and admit their faults. James Taylor, you did mention, you felt that you deserved the main event spot.
Yeah, I did. That was me being protective of my character and who I am as an individual and what I was able to bring to the table. But because it didn't happen, you could say I took my ball and went home all you want, and it's fine. Do I hate TBW? No. Do I hate Resurrection? No. Am I pissed off about what happened in the past? I'm over it now because it's over a year old now. I'm done with it. I don't like politics. I get them to an extent. I know it because I do it, and it's happened inside promo wrestling as well. But it is what it is. $10 was it upset me then, but I'm done and I'm over with now. If anything, It's not really all is forgiven. All is it's done. It's in the past. I'm washing my hands of it. Whether they want to work with me or not, that's on them. That's the point I'm trying to make is seems that some people, and I bring up the past because some people can't let go of the past. So I'm going to vent out the frustrations of the past. Now I'm done. I actually feel better about it. I'm going to go on and do what I do in ROEW. I am going to be wrestling this year.
Yeah,
Keep your eyes peeled.
did I just hear you're wrestling this year? Did I just hear that?
Well, yeah. You ain't seen the last of James Taylor in a wrestling ring in a 16 by 16, 18 by 18, or a 20 by 20. Come hell or high water, you will see me in a ring going over the ropes, sending someone over the ropes, pinning somebody, or them pinning me. It doesn't matter because I'm there to entertain and have fun. But I'm done with the past. It's done and it's over with. If these guys can't let the shit go, especially over $10, or because I wanted a main event, I felt I deserved a main event spot. That's all. I felt I deserved it. I didn't want it out of pity. And this is
Were
an
you
indie
promised
company.
the main event spot or no?
I was promised a main event spot at one time.
You were.
And it was supposed to have it with the guy who was in the company, who's no longer there either. He couldn't see the value in the match. He wanted the match. I wanted the match. We couldn't come to terms
So
and
you
agree.
would have liked to have
We
had
were
the
working
match.
through it.
Is that what you're telling me? You would have liked to have had it?
Oh,
It
I
didn't
would have
work?
loved to have the match. It didn't even have to be a title. The fact that it was the whole time I was there, a match with Ledger, we had that just like Jack Delta and Ledger. There was that
I
brief
remember
glimpse
it.
of
Yes.
it.
Yep.
We had the brief glimpse too when we were in the Rumble together. That moment where it was
But you
Anthony.
need, but I'm sure with
me.
ROEW, we're going to not have those moments now. You're as the owner of, but I will ask you though, with ROEW, we're not going to have those problems, right? That you say you had, right? No,
none whatsoever. And I'm a man of my word because I've proven it every single time,
Oh,
even
listen,
in PWS.
James, you know what I think very highly of you. I think very highly of you. And I think Shane, I think very highly of Shane. Did you want to finish Shane before Anthony comes on here? Because you will probably have very little water or air to breathe once he
I'm
comes
done at this point, anyways.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
on that, yeah, guys, Shane, go
I
ahead.
would like to finish what I was gonna say.
Go for it.
The thing is, James Taylor, you're upset over $10. I've been doing this
No.
since I was. Hold on, let me finish. Let me
You heard
finish.
me wrong. You heard me wrong.
No,
I'm gonna
just let me
cut you
finish.
off. I'm not upset
No.
over $10. I was upset at that time over a $10 situation because I didn't understand. And then when I find out, what makes me upset about it is that after almost a year, I find out what was the reason, and I thought it was kind of dumb and childish. But it is what it is. It's just $10. I was never paid at TBW. It doesn't matter. I didn't have to be paid to be in the ring. I was offered money. I was promised a certain amount, and then I didn't get it. But it is what it is. It's done and it's over with. I don't care no more. They don't have to pay me nothing if they wanted me to come back. If they wanted me to come back and have a match with Cameron Cage again, or even Anthony Steele or anybody, I probably
Would
would
you like
accept
to
it.
wrestle in Resurrection Wrestling?
I mean, I'm open to the idea. Yeah. Do they have to pay me? No, they don't have to pay me. If they wanted me to come down there and have a match with anybody, I'm open to it. All they have to do is call me and talk to me. Pitch me the idea. Tell me what you want to do. Maybe we could do some business, you know?
And Shane, anything else you wanted to add, Shane, to finish what you had to say? Okay, well, I want to obviously, before I bring Anthony in, I want to also say hello to Lizzie C. Lizzie, also, I'd like to say that you've obviously missed some of the parts of the PWF where we talked about what you're going to see in the coming weeks ahead and coming days. If you want to follow the PWF, we're on Instagram at PWF_network. Obviously, James is staying on. I'm involved. Shane Davidson's also going to be involved in the PWF. He's going to be one of our team players in it. We have Sean Jovi, the resident rock star, and a whole lot of other people. Yeah, I want to let Shane speak. I mean, do you have anything else, Shane, you want to say? Anything else you want to say? Okay, if you don't want to, I mean, people would like
Not
to
at
hear
the
you
moment.
speak.
I'm gonna wait. I'm
I
gonna
would
keep my
like to
thoughts
hear
to
you too.
myself.
You asked to be paid to put over Ledger. Is that something you recall at all? Would you like to comment on that? No. Okay.
I don't know where that came from, but okay.
Okay, I'm just throwing it out there because people would like
in your
to.
basement, lie. Sit there in your basement.
We got
live at
ours.
home alone.
I love Bren, by the way. Companies, where them LLCs at? And of course, IMF said, we got them. They do. And hello to our friends over at FAPW. Yes, we're glad. And that's the spirit. So FAPW, get in touch with me and we'll get you involved. We'll connect with some people. And also hello to our friends out there around the world. Levi McDaniel, the Belfast Bruiser. How you doing, Levi? That's not what Levi looks like on his YouTube channel, but justice for Shane. Yeah, I would like to see you back, Shane. I don't know what your status is. I know we've talked about it. You've got a baby on the way, but I would like to see you in a ring. I don't know where it'll be. Dalton Skull has a ring out there. He's got a promotion. I don't know how well you and Dalton Skull are acquainted, but he was here.
2025 is all I'm going to say.
What part of the team in PWF would you be involved in? I would say, I don't know, character development, playing part of the game. Shane is a streamer. He's on Twitch as well. He's on Instagram. It's your boy. It's underscore your boy. It's underscore your underscore boy underscore Shane. You want to get in touch with him, and I'll connect you anyway because I have his Instagram. So we expect Shane to be one of the lead people. But I think at this point, it's time to let him have the opportunity to speak on some of the things you said because you did bring him up, and that is Mr. Anthony Steele. Anthony, how are you tonight? Good to see you once again. It's time to let you speak on some of the things. And how you feeling right now, first of all? How you doing? You comfortable? You feel like the audience is waiting for you to, cook a little bit? Or what would you like to say to some of the things that you heard?
I've got messages. Be like, are you coming on tonight?
Well, I mean, you're here now, right? I mean, now the viewership's going to go spike up.
I just got done training with D'Angelo. Me and him did it like a 2.5 hour training.
You just mentioned that he was doing training actually in the YouTube.
Me and him, we're doing training. Which James, we ever get back in the ring together, I got some shit to show you that I could do now.
Well, I think I'm going to be seeing you next Wednesday, right, to talk about a few things.
Thought it was Saturday.
I thought your solo spot was next. We'll get to Saturday. No, Saturday, saving that. I'll save the Saturday thought. That's for the end of the show, but the floor is yours.
All right. I do want to give someone because I want to hear what he had to say. Shane, go ahead and finish. I want to hear what you had to say. I actually do. I'm invested in this.
Yeah,
right now.
I offered
for once, people are gonna be like weirded the fuck out and be like, what the fuck? But I'm actually going to be quiet because I want to hear what you have to say.
Well, I was in the process of asking James Taylor, like, if he was really upset about that $10, man, because I don't recall getting paid. And I'm not talking about Resurrection. I got paid at Resurrection, but I busted my ass for damn near 12 years, in and out the ring for 12 years, and you're upset over $10. I didn't get paid but a slice of pizza. That's all I got paid, bro. And you're upset over that? That's the one thing you're upset over, and that you bring it up now.
Interesting.
Again, he's not.
When I label myself a professional wrestler, in and out, and you're self-taught, do you label yourself a professional wrestler, James Taylor?
No, I don't. I never said that I was a professional wrestler, and everything I do 90% of the time is in character. And number two, you clearly don't listen. I didn't say, I said I was upset at that time because of the situation. I didn't understand. I was promised something. When somebody promises you something, okay, so if your boss promises you when you take your ass to work, they promise you a paycheck, and then if they were to not pay you, would that not kind of upset you and piss you off? Hey, I worked. You promised me a certain pay. Why do I not have it? I mean, would that not make you mad? I don't care if you've worked 12 years in professional wrestling and you named yourself a professional wrestler. I have no disrespect towards you, Shane Davison, but where's this coming from? A guy who's begging to get back into TBW. You were pissed off. You talked your shit about it. I support you in what you do because you never gave me no rub of the elbow and upset me or tried to rub me the wrong way. I've supported you and respected you, and now you're just turning the tables because you're defending the company. Because clearly what you're showing is
No. I'm not defending TBW. I never once said I was defending TBW. I just take offense to people that hold on,
Shane,
let me finish.
Shane, go ahead. You got the floor. Take it away. What do you want to say?
I just took offense that you were upset over $10 when you're not even labeled a professional wrestler. I am labeled a professional wrestler. It is stamped, printed on paper that I am a professional wrestler. And I take offense that you are upset over $10 when I don't get paid for shit.
Interesting.
Am I allowed to talk yet?
Yeah.
No, yeah, you're allowed to have
Yeah,
the
you
floor.
can speak. The floor is yours. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You're upset because of how I feel. Why does that bother you? Why does that piss you off so much about what I feel? I'm just venting out frustrations from the time. I said I was done and I was over with. What upset me and brought it back up was the fact that I found out a few weeks ago on the reason why. I was offered it. It doesn't matter if I'm a professional wrestler or not. I was considered talent that they wanted on their show because I was associated with TBW, who aren't professional wrestlers either, but they support Resurrection Wrestling. They are a one company who support each other and doing the hell of a job that they do. And I was a part of that, asked to come down, put on a show, put over a talent. He put me over, but we weren't together. And I was offered money. Everybody else was offered money. And it was just for that brief moment that I found out why, or I was upset at the fact that everybody else got paid this and was promised this. I didn't. But I was done and over with. I'd done forgotten about it. I find out weeks later the reason why. It kind of upset me. But at the same time, I wash my hands of it. I don't care. That's pissing you off? I don't care if you were only fed cottage cheese and pepperoni pizza for every match that you had. I don't have to get paid. I've never been paid for any fucking match in my life. This was the first time that I was offered any money. Yeah, I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it because they offered it. Then when they give me $10 in my hand, hey, it's $10 more than I fucking had. Was I pissed off at the fact that it wasn't more? Yeah. But I went on my merry way. I still had a hell of a time. I didn't hurt their talent. I had a blast doing it. I even showed stuff that's even on my YouTube after the show. I was in there training with, we were practicing around, me and I think it was Neff and Cameron Cage and I think Russell Cooper came in there for a moment. And we were just having a blast. It was no big deal. I got the $10. Yeah, I was a little pissy about it, but I was offered it.
Well, let me ask you guys. I actually have a different question. You guys were both in the same locker room that day, correct?
Yeah, not that day. I'm sure he's gone to Resurrection and worked with them, but not that day. I don't think the only time I worked with or was in the same locker room with Shane and Alan, respectfully, was around Anniversary, and then they were in that big ladder match, and they had the stuff
okay,
there,
so basically, then you both weren't. That was kind of what my follow-up is. You both were not in the same locker room, then, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so ultimately, there's no right. You have an opinion, and Shane is talking about the fact that, he's a professional wrestler, and he brings up his feelings on that, and he has his reasons, and you have your reasons on that. And Shane, would you like to add anything else that you would like to finish on that?
I do not have anything to say about anything else at the moment.
Now, Anthony, let me ask you a question. I know there's people that want to talk about this. Now, Anthony, you've obviously wrestled a lot more than I have, right? You've been in these situations. Explain to the audience what you're hearing about. Shane talks about that he wasn't paid anything, but he's a professional wrestler. He has it stamped. He's a professional wrestler. James is basically not a professional wrestler. It sounds to me. He's not. He's self-trained, and he wrestled on a show, and it sounds like he was told something, and I'm a little confused here, and so is the audience. Help us understand, because you've been in both these guys' shoes. Talk to me about it.
I mean, I see it from both sides. Shane, me and you're in the same boat. The only difference, I don't got it stamped. I was like, I know that. Hey, look. I'm open and honest about this shit. I was trained behind closed doors with that, like not in an actual training facility. I lived in a house with professional wrestlers. So we sat there and we had our basement literally was our training room. We would sit there and we would train in there. I'd sit there and be like, look, dude, show me this. Teach me how to do that. Teach me how to do this. And then when I found out some shit about them, I left and I went and found someone else to train me, to help me with some shit. Because at that time, I'm not gonna lie, I was broke as fuck. Didn't have the money to afford the training. And so I took what, as Chris Craven would say, I was the tag along. I was a tag along talent.
He was.
Look, I'll own it. I was a tag along trainee. I showed up to shows. I worked for the company and literally did security for them, built the ring, everything. just so way I can, have something to fucking do to see the art of professional wrestling, something I love. But I just did a show for NOCW. Everyone that doesn't know,
I said a few things on that. I remember very well.
I don't work with them anymore. I've packed my bags and I've left that company.
You were their first blood champion. Yep.
For the simple fact that, I wish James was here so I can say, like, he can hear this. And this ain't me dogging on James. This is I guess
dogging on him.
No. I'm not saying you were. I'm not saying you were. Trust me, because I got something to say to you. And it's not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad.
Let's go. We're live. Come on. This is what we want.
So, the last show I did with NOCW, I literally. All right, let's start from the beginning. I was promised with NOCW that they'd give me training, and that was my payment. Legit training. And then I started doing other shows. And every other show told me not to work with NOCW because the dude that owns it is not trained himself. Like, he has his own show and he wrestles, and he literally will sit there and not pay people. And so he said he'd pay me in training. That never happened. Finally, they didn't have anyone to become the First Blood champion. And they're like, Anthony, boom, you're going to be our First Blood champion. They put me with this guy that they wanted to be my mouthpiece. Everyone fucking knows Anthony still can talk his fucking ass off, so I don't need no goddamn mouthpiece. That's one thing I can respect about Shane. Me and Shane are cut from the same cloth, but went two different fucking directions, dude. We can talk our fucking asses off, and there ain't a damn motherfucker that can stop us.
I got in PWF involved. I love Shane Davis.
Literally, and he started paying me when I won the First Blood Championship. He paid me. He literally, I'm sitting at home. I know this is TMI, but I'm sitting at home not doing a damn fucking thing. And like, I'm about to get up to use the bathroom and I get a text. And then I'm sitting here, I'm like, what the fuck? And then I get a ding on my phone saying that he paid me. And he goes, here's your payout, champ. Cool. All right. So I'm getting paid now. I'm finally getting paid. And then they pay me again for the night of the Royal Rumble. Literally this year. The dude, the owner, doesn't show up when he's supposed to. It is 5:30 at night. The show's supposed to happen at 6 o'clock. He's not there at 5:30. Wrestlers are there. The guy that he's renting the ring is there. Guy leaves, sends him his money back, and tells him, have a good fucking day, because he wasn't there to do what he's supposed to. He winds up paying us for the people that showed up. Cool. I made $30 that night, and I didn't even have to fucking lift a finger. I got to talk with the fucking boys. Literally, we shot our shit. And the one thing that I was told, if you have an agreement, if you tell them, hey, if I'm wrestling for you, I need to get paid. Tell them that up front. So when you go there, they have to pay you. Okay, it comes to the NOCW Grand Stage. I go there. I then, am told not to talk to Resurrection. Probably one of the best damn things I ever fucking did was talk to Resurrection. I will say this. I had talked to Resurrection without abiding what the fucking owner told me not to do. And now I'm back at Resi. I did the show. I worked a 20-year fucking vet. 20 fucking years. He told me straight up. He's like, there's some shit that you can work on.
We spoke about this last month. I know where it's going.
He literally told me. He's like, dude, there's some shit that you can work on. But he's like, look, you're one of the safest fucking rookies I've ever felt. He's like, I will literally wrestle you any fucking time. And then we got to the back after we got done with the match. And he's like, I can't wait for the rematch. I was like, there's no rematch. He goes, oh, I'm going to make sure there's a fucking rematch because we're going to wrestle again. And I go after the show. I'm like, where's my payout? I got to leave. My girl's having some issues. Not trying to go into depth with that. For people that know, it was that time of the month. And I told him, I was like, I got to dip. Just send it to me. You got my Cash App. Send it to me on Cash App. And don't hear from him. The next day, finally get a hold of him at 4:30 at night. And he basically tells me, a promoter looked at him and said, because I'm wearing joggers and sneakers. Hold on, and I'm being honest. He said, because I wear joggers and sneakers, he shouldn't pay me. And he told what the promoter said. So I told him, I was like, so you're not going to pay me. I go in there. I do my dues. I pay my dues. I wrestle a fucking match, whether you like it or not, because he was trying to tell me what I couldn't do in my moveset. Because I'm a big boy, it doesn't make sense for me to do a Pele kick. Homie, I do one of the best Pele kicks as a fucking big boy than a lot of these small motherfuckers can fucking do. And he's like, so I finally just look at him. I'm like, so you're not going to pay me? No. All right, cool. Have a nice fucking day. Literally the next fucking day, I get signed to CTW, commit to wrestling in Memphis. One of
I
the
know
best
Commit to
fucking
Wrestling,
decisions I made.
yes, I've heard of them.
I,
Yes,
I
have.
literally June 21st, I face a guy that I faced in my first ever indie match. I literally a year and a half later, almost actually 2 years later, I get to have a one-on-one match with a dude that said he wanted to have a one-on-one match with me, and that was my first time on the indies. So I get where James is coming from. He didn't get paid as much as he was supposed to.
Levi
Cool.
McDaniel, actually, I got a couple of comments on that. Let me read them up here. First of all, let me come back up here. I think I read this off. First, continuing hurling your little insults because those who know the truth know that you're a fill-in-the-blanks fraud with the ego the size of Jupiter. I'm sorry about to say Jupiter, but I might be dribbling with sweat. If Levi McDaniel, if James was promised something, he didn't get it, then he has a reason to be upset. That has nothing to do with being a pro or a yarder. It's based off principle. Want to say hello to Peter Richards. He had a line here. I want to try to read them in order. I trained for a company called MWA in Oklahoma. Was that in Oklahoma, if I'm not mistaken, with Butch Reed? Of course, we know Butch Reed, the legendary Butch Reed. I put up the ring, tore down the ring, and worked as a medic, an EMT, I suppose, on staff, quote unquote. Ring announced, did everything in the back, never paid a dime. I enjoyed it. I think that's what Shane was kind of talking about. I think, right, Shane? If you're a stand pro, he talked about like that he did things and he enjoyed it, but he didn't expect to get paid, right? If you basically,
I don't expect to get paid because, like, I love wrestling. I don't have to get paid for it.
Well, that's obviously you. See, I'm not a wrestler, so I couldn't ask that question. I wouldn't be able to know.
I see both sides. I actually do, Tom.
I've
tell me
never
why.
been paid. I've never been paid for any match in my life.
I'll
That was the first time.
I'll tell you why I see both sides. Coming from someone that is trained.
The level-headed Anthony Steele tonight. Wait a minute.
I look. This is probably going to be the biggest side of me that no one's ever seen. I see both sides. I see both. I've seen both sides. I've worked both sides. I traveled 6.5 hours to come to TVW. 6.5 hours. Never got paid a dime. 6.5 fucking hours. The most I can say I got paid is I got to room at Troy's. I got the room with Troy to come down there. Cool. I didn't have to pay for a fucking hotel. I'm fucking okay with that. But I also see where James come from. If you're promised a payout, you get the payout. But at the same time, you have to talk to the booker and understand what your payout means. If you're bringing someone in, ask them, hey, tell them, hey, I'm bringing someone in. James, I'm gonna tell you a story that is 100% true.
Go for it.
MIW. I haven't wrestled with them for like a month and a half because I don't have gear. Okay. If someone doesn't want to book me because I don't have gear, fine by me. I'm going to do me. At the end of the day, I created me. I've marketed myself. I have my own fucking look, and I'm going to do what the fuck I want to do. If someone doesn't want to book me because I wrestle in joggers and sneakers, hey, listen, I'm going to meet the dude that inspired me to do that, and that is Enzo Amore in the next 2 fucking weeks. And trust me, I'm going to have the conversation with his ass.
Are you going to be telling us live what that conversation was like?
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Literally, side note, it is going to be one of the best things I've ever fucking done because I really want to meet Enzo Amore and talk to him. You're the inspiration.
Levels. He just met Brutus Beefcake, so there you go.
Yeah, and literally, they took out of my PO because my girl came in and everyone else's girls or family was in the crowd. They took it out of my PO because she was there. And it wasn't even brought to me. But I looked at it as like, all right, you took it out of my PO. I got my payout. Boom.
But that's a POS move, though, I think.
And for Tom, for you to understand, PO means payout.
Oh, I know what it meant. No, trust me. I know what it meant. I definitely know. I trust you. I know what it meant. I'm
going to say this. Whether you expect to get paid or you don't expect to get paid, that's y'all's terms. That is whoever's terms it is. Me, if I'm traveling a long distance, and especially for an indie fed, I expect to get paid. Because at that point, I'm spending all my time, all my money.
I've heard that from the British guys. British guys will talk about
because at that point, if it's local, cool, don't pay me. I at that point, I didn't really fucking travel
more than 3 hours, right? That's the line.
At that point, if I'm traveling more than like 2 hours or an hour,
I said 3. I think I was diplomatic. I think I
literally, if I'm traveling like 2 to 3 hours, yeah, I think I should get paid for the simple fact of literally, I will sit there and take the time out of my day, my gas, and I have to put back in out of my paycheck.
I'm
order to
curious
pay.
on this question for all three is before I get to loads of comments. When you guys all worked in TBW and Resurrection, what was your commute to those places for the three of you when you worked in TBW and Resurrection? I know you're back in Resurrection, but your first stint for the three of you when you were stint, what was your commutes?
So for me with Resi, I lived there. where it was happening, I lived at the house.
Your first stint in TBW in Resurrection, your commute was how long?
Okay, so to TBW, 6.5 hours. When I was going to TBW, it was 6.5 hours.
And Resurrection?
The backyard. Go out the door.
Okay, that was what I thought. Now, okay, go ahead.
It's one of those things where, again, I gotta reiterate this because everyone has their own opinions. People do this for free. People do this for money. People do it for both. It just depends. Like, I'll tell you one of the best stories I've ever heard. There's a dude down here named Pretty Boy Mike. I respect him so much.
I've heard that name.
Literally, I told him, I was like, I want to get him on here so he can tell his story. Because having this conversation with him.
We got Brian White, by the way, next Friday. IWA Deathmatch. That's going to be a big one next Friday.
Like, Pretty Boy Mike straight up told me, he's like, dude, if I know the people that's running it, I usually tell them, I give them a discount. Basically, that's what he said. I give him a discount, basically, on what my PO is. But this is a dude that's been wrestling for 17 years. So the best story or the best advice he told me, which is I'm going to tell to anybody, and this is for everybody that travels, this is everybody that wants to wrestle or is in wrestling right now, is if you're going to commute to a location to do a wrestling show, the three main things you got to know: who are you wrestling, what your payout is, and if you're 100% going to make sure that you get your payout and get that match that you're supposed to be in. Because there's one thing I hate is showing up to a show and having all these plans, getting everything set the fuck up in a match, and then you get there and it changes. Because at that point, Shane, you could probably understand this. Getting to a show, you've already talked to your opponent. Y'all have planned this whole fucking thing. You get there and either they don't show up or they change it. So now you have to fucking figure out everything fucking brand new of what the fuck you're going to do that night. And then it caused a little fucking conundrum. Because at that point, you're like, I just planned everything. I have it all fucking, set out, set in stone. This is how it's going to start. This is how it's going to end. Everything. And then you're not doing it. Which I've had that happen. Literally, I showed up to when I won the First Blood Championship. I was supposed to be in a match with one of my boys that I met through the indie scenes. We're supposed to run it fucking back. And it was going to be a great fucking match. Side note, me and him about to be in the ring here really fucking soon. And it's going to be great. And literally, I'll say this. I'll say the name, but I'm not going to say where. Stephen Dunn.
That name came up a few days ago. Yeah.
So, literally, and then it got changed to me and this dude that's like kind of new, but's been in the indies for a while. And he's like just now starting to wrestle. And literally, at that point, what made the match even worse.
To finish the story, because this is the one moment where I actually need to do a number one. So
you're good. So literally, the worst part of this match was, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, Shane. We didn't have a top rope at all because the crosswires that they gave us for the ring did not fit the ring. Like, at all. They were so fucking small. They did not fit the ring. And we couldn't get it to fucking together. So we had no top rope. So my match was like 95% outside of the ring. And this is an auditorium. So I'm doing spots outside the fucking ring, taking suplexes, body drops, spine busters, every fucking thing in a fucking gymnasium floor and just taking it all. And literally I'm sitting here, I'm like, this is going to suck. This sucks fucking ass. That was probably one of the worst matches I wrestled, and not because of the fucking competitor. It's because of the conditions that I was put in. And that's the one thing everyone has to understand. I know they say card subject to fucking change. Cool. I understand that. But at the same time, when you're supposed to be an established company, when you've been doing this for so fucking long, and then you have so many complications with your ring, with your roster, with your fucking payout, at that point, you're not an established fucking company. You're just a company with a name that promotes. Dude, Triple W does that. Triple W promotes. They fucking promote a fucking match card, do everything. They're like, we're going to be in this fucking place, on the ground, everything. But it's never lives up to the hype that it's supposed to be. Like
it can't. Yeah, well, that's a whole conundrum.
My whole thing is, if you're going to call yourself an indie company, you need 3 fucking key factors. You need a location, 100% verified location. I know some shit happens where like things don't fall in line like they're supposed to.
PM me for the address.
Yeah,
I got that.
You need a ring. If you're going to be an indie company, you need a fucking ring. Don't rent a ring and then show up fucking late and then lose the ring and have 10 to 15 fucking superstars waiting at the fucking venue for you to show the fuck up just not to wrestle.
All right, let me get to Shane because I think Shane Davidson's going to bounce off here shortly. Shane Davidson, what was your commute to TBW and Resurrection the first 10? How long was your commute there?
My commute, I was driving first. Let me start off when I first went. I was coming from Smyrna, Tennessee, going north towards Lafayette. I was riding with Alan Michaels. And then after a while, we moved to Manchester, driving that, and that's about an hour and like 2 hours, 2 hour drive, maybe, give or take.
Okay, so your commute wasn't really that bad then. Your commute.
Not really, just $30 in gas, and we're there.
And your commute was like 3 hours, James, right, from Alabama?
So it was a 3-hour drive for me, and it was usually around a $300 round trip. And I never complained once about it. I even picked up Anthony from a bus stop the first time I met him.
I would have loved to have been in that.
I've told that story so many fucking times, and I will say it as quick as I can right now. It's still the funniest story I've ever had.
I got so many people that want to talk. You got to be quick. I got a lot.
I get picked up from the Greyhound. James is like, I'm on my way. He's like, I pulled up. And I'm thinking like James, because again, on camera, James looks fucking huge. Like height-wise.
I know.
Shane, you've met James. You know how short this motherfucker is. This motherfucker pulls up in a little fucking, I think it was like a Kia or some shit. And I'm sitting here and he gets out and he's so small.
Dude,
a Chevy fucking Sonic, a small ass fucking car. And I literally, the first thing I say to him when I meet him in person is like, you're a lot fucking smaller than what I thought you were.
You want to picture something even funnier? Okay, you know the size of a Ford Focus?
Yes. Yeah. I used to drive one with my ex.
Okay, picture me and Alan Michaels riding in that all the way from Manchester to
I would have loved to have been a fly in that car. You know,
dude,
Anthony and
what
James,
I'm telling you, we were packed like we were like.
Hey, I sat sideways in the back of James' car.
On the road again.
I did not have a lot of leg room. I'm not even going to count.
I got a lot of comments. Yeah, okay, real quick.
I never once asked for a dime. I was just happy to be back in wrestling to begin with.
Now,
I never cared about getting paid.
Shane,
I want to clarify, James Taylor. There was no disrespect to that, my friend. I just wanted to clarify, like there's other things to be mad at than just being paid. And I'm just trying to clarify. I was just trying to clarify that because like I just didn't understand why you brought that up now when you could have brought that up a year ago. You know what I'm saying?
Because it was petty shit and I was done with it, and then I just wanted to vent it because everybody else was venting about things, and this is the whole.
No, this is the platform to do it. No.
Absolutely.
I gotta say this. We let everybody speak. I don't think, listen, the whole movement of All Wrestling Matters, open collaboration, I still believe in that principle of everybody should be entitled to say what's on their mind. Everybody should be here. If you're here, you should come on and say things. Now, there are people, I think that what we've kind of decried is like Austin G's, for example. I think that type of things. But I think that if you're here in the community, I think whether you agree or not agree, I think you should be provided that right to speak. And I think that we got a conversation that was eye-opening. We talked about pay. We talked about, political things. Anthony talked about the traveling and what happened to him. Shane talked about his experiences as a pro wrestler being trained and stamped. James talked about what he felt was on his chest. People have had an opinion on that. And I think that's why I like to get to the people, because this is the church of All Wrestling Matters. And you built this church, and I want to get to my parishioners. I can add some stuff, but I'm gonna shut up because D'Angelo the Flame is too nice of a guy. Big Man Cam, my buddy and your employee in ROEW, would like to say, you guys ever ran into a 20-year pro that talks themselves up, but have only worked 5 matches? And no, it's not C2K.
I was about to say, are you talking about someone that claimed to be a 20, 30-year vet
no,
and
C2K
only found 5
claiming
matches?
he's a backyard pro wrestler, but that's But we'll come back to that. Bro was on BS that night. I think we'll talk about NOCW. I think he's talking about the NOCW.
Bro, because even D'Angelo didn't get paid. D'Angelo and Pat worked
I
the
know,
fucking opening show.
And didn't I not call the promoter a bunch of names? Didn't I
Yeah,
say?
they were like literally, they opened the show and they had a banger. They really did have a fucking banger. And literally, they said his exact words to me. I will never forget this. Is they're yarders. I don't pay yarders.
Yes, and I decried that point. St. Peter helped us as security for the company here called SWA that was featured in my TBW documentary a while back. Yeah, I think I do remember that name. I don't get paid at all. Never been an issue with me. I give up my purse for the other guys who travel. Yeah, that would probably be me. Knowing me, I'd probably be the same way. So that's
how much are you getting paid for a summer bash?
That's a question you'd have to ask the people in charge of that because I'm not the one that's in charge of that.
I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
No, listen. We're live. Listen, I mean, at this point, that's why people tune in. They want listen. They know they go somewhere else. They ain't gonna get that. They're gonna get the usual in character. What's your favorite this? What's your favorite that? No, this is what we're built upon.
I just need one match.
Well, I'm sure you probably get one. If it was up to me, I'll give you like 16.
No, I'm talking about I need one match. I need Anthony Steele versus Shane Davidson to solidify who the most controversial figure in TBW history was. All right. So
I thought Dave Taylor could be in the triple threat.
I mean, James isn't really controversial because what me and Shane did versus what James did. Yeah, there's kind of no offense, James. I love you. I like literally James and me on screen in character. Me and James hate each other's fucking guts.
Oh,
he's the biggest piece of shit in wrestling fucking history. He's in it for him fucking self. He wants what he wants, and he can't say other fucking wants. But out of character, James Taylor, I will 100% say I've sat down, I've hung out with this motherfucker. I've played him in 2K. I beat him. Literally
said now, Anthony. You're going to probably be a part of the new PWF.
I've sat there. I've had conversations with this dude multiple fucking times.
Love James.
James is a good fucking guy. Do some people piss him off? Hey, people piss me the fuck off, and
everybody's allowed to vent their opinions. But that's what I love about Sportswire is that we are really tackling the issues that nobody else will tackle. Nobody will come on air and talk about these things. You think if you go somewhere, you think Anthony Arias is going to talk about that?
Fuck no. I'm the best Anthony in the backyard scene, just letting you know.
But do you think anywhere else is going to go and talk about these things? We say, I know Shane might have to run a second, but nobody else is going to be afraid to listen. This is the only platform. We're bold. Listen, I have no problem calling out what I see. I call it right down the line. You don't get political things with me. I don't owe anybody nothing, so I am unabashed in that. I am right down the line. You want to bring up you want to say something because I gotta look at everybody's comments. You gotta go, Shane.
Real quick, can in the comments, can you clarify, James, that you did get paid though?
Did you get paid?
Because people are saying that if you're promised to pay, if you were promised something, like people need to. Can you clarify that you did get paid, and that's not what I was upset about, that you didn't get paid? Because that's not what I'm upset about.
I can clarify. Yes, I was paid, but I wasn't paid what I was promised, and that's what I was upset. But I was upset literally for maybe 24 to 48 hours. After that, I was done, and that was over a year ago.
I gotta
get to comments. It gotta be 30 seconds. I gotta let people see.
It'll take 5 seconds to say this. Okay. I just want to clarify that I'm more controversial than Shane Davidson.
Well, I would say this much. You're here more than Shane Davidson, and you've worked in more feds than Shane Davidson is, and you're basically not afraid to say anything. I mean, I would probably say you might be more controversial, but because
as Samuel L. Jackson said, Shane Davidson ain't got shit on me.
Although I have to be honest, Anthony, I think if you've heard the last 24 to 48 hours, I think I'm probably giving you actually, some competition, I suppose.
Hey, listen. As long as I get a put in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame of the most controversial figure I'm okay.
Well, how about next
Hey,
Wednesday?
Shane Davidson's already in there.
Yeah, Shane
Hey.
Davis, Anthony's in already, but maybe I'll tell you.
Yeah,
Maybe,
I was already in the fucking Hall of Fame before you.
but you're in it. Listen, you're in it. Although listen, but maybe we'll do what Fish Face said over there in Indiana. We'll just put like 80,000 more people in there. Maybe the overweight Patrick Swayze can maybe go be a butt buddy for him there. But I give up my purse for the guys who travel. I watched your documentary. Never paid a dime because this is my escape from this world. I've met some of the best people. I agree with you on that, and that's what Sportswire and All Wrestling matters about. We're all family. If you want to be here and collaborate, open collaboration, you're getting, unlike no other place, the support and love and friendship. If you want to go somewhere else, you're welcome, or want to be in your own lane, you're welcome, but you're getting things that nobody's providing. If you promise something, I think we just addressed that. Thank you very much. TBW doesn't pay its own right, and that's why I want to say a little bit.
That was my wife, by the way.
Oh, I am so sorry. Hello, Mrs. Armageddon, Shane Davidson. I think we just addressed that. I didn't know if you had to go, Shane, because I know you have a baby on the way. TBW doesn't pay its own wrestlers. There is plenty of people who should be paid for wrestling, but they do it for the love of wrestling. I agree. All wrestling matters. Everybody's got to chill. Yeah, I do agree on those things. And he said, yes, Tom, MWA was in Oklahoma, had Butch Reed, Angel from ECW. I remember Angel, Tim Rockwell, and many other names. I was friends with the promoter and trained to be a pro, but they closed a couple of years later. So I'm sorry to hear that. I'd like to get to a point where I do bring in at least a little cash flow from doing this. I love wrestling, but it would definitely keep down the arguments at home with the family. Yeah.
Period. 100%.
He's right. And that's why I love Big Man Canada. I'm trying to push everybody to get those opportunities. I don't think I've worked my way up to that point yet, though. Well,
But you also got to learn. You got to start small to get big.
And James Taylor is his boss, so maybe then James Taylor will help him get there. Oh, exactly, Kron. Wrestling is an escape, and that's what we are trying to build here in this platform. Yeah, D'Angelo, I had way too many big gulps. Yeah, Tom is. I am trying to be a stand-up comedian. Where did Tom go? I had to go to the bathroom. I really did have to go. If you're promised something, regardless to if you're a professional wrestler or not, the company paying or offering was supposed to deliver. If I'm promised a penny, I'm expecting that penny. And I had to go to the bathroom. I really did have to go. Number one. It was like, remember Dumb and Dumber when I think it was Jeff Daniels' character had to go on the other side of the road. That would have been me if I would have had waited 5 seconds more. I have a Skyen XA and it's small and I'm 6'3". Well, that's why you're my PWF champion. Listening to Jelly Roll on the way up there.
Yes, sir.
We got some tall guys in the PWF. Shane, you might have competition. Anthony,
ain't nobody bigger than me.
He's 6'4" though.
How tall are you, Shane?
6'6".
You are? I thought you were 6'5".
6'6".
You grew since last week.
Hey, look, and I'll still
Hi, by the way, thank you for the comment, by the way. Thank you for the comment.
Hey, you might be 6'6", but I'll still body you like you're 5'3".
Well, that would be James Taylor, who's 5'3".
Go watch what I did to Alan Michaels.
Well, eating peanut butter crackers. Myself, Alan Michaels. Myself, this is a funny one. Myself, Alan Michaels, Andrew Clay, Johnny J. talked about packed like sardines in a can heading to Memphis. The question was just in general. And my buddy, how about the Tribal Cheese is here? Speaking of people who are larger than life and sell lots of tickets, the Tribal Cheese, we were talking about the Tribal Cheese that have the PWF, the Promo Wrestling Federation, which you're welcome to join if you play streaming video games or want to be involved in that. But also we're talking about some wrestlers being paid and not paid. And James Taylor had a few things to say, and we were joined by Omen Black now, Shane Davidson, and also Mr. Anthony.
I do want to say this. This goes out to the Tribal Cheese and guys in Australia. Me and D'Angelo are looking to travel internationally to get our name out there a little bit more. So I still got to get my passport. He already has his. Let us get those. Let us get in touch with y'all, and we can try to work something out. Because me and D'Angelo are all about traveling.
Look, Tibbs, look, I appreciate you, bro. It's not about. It was just the principle at the time. I'm not worried about the pay. It was literally just to wrestle. That's all it was. It's all.
What about me? I'm an out of towner, technically.
Shut up, Anthony.
Technically, no. Anthony is almost like He's the drawer of sports. Actually, maybe Anthony he's up there too as one of the greatest figures in Sportswire history. I mean, he's a part. You gotta go, Shane. I'll see you later, Shane. Tell the missus I said thank you for letting borrow you.
My knockoff.
That's not true. And we're joined, I think, by Omen Black, the boogeyman of the Midwest, and that's really him. It's his show after all. And Anthony, we need you here, Anthony. Just like we love James, we gotta have balance. You gotta have all the food groups in this platform. For all wrestling matters, we gotta have all controversial personalities here. I mean, the four of us might be the most controversial personalities right now in the backyard and the underground. I mean, think about it. We might be the Mount Rushmore of controversial figures because after all, we know the guys in Maryland don't think too much of us. We know the guys in Indiana don't think too much of us. We certainly know the guy in Texas don't think much of us. I'm sure.
Wait, who's in Texas that don't think much? What?
Stop! Stop!
Who?
Bedwetter. He's a bedwetter, I'm sure.
Hey, look, if we're going to talk about Texas, there's only one Texas promotion that I really know about that I will still give a shout out to this day. Let's shout out to West Texas Underground with my boy AJ Rios.
Let's go. Work, what are you talking about? Let's bring them all down. Listen, Big Man Cam's got ALW in Marion, Ohio. Connect them with DarkCon. FAPW in Georgia. Come on down. If you're anywhere else and you want to be here, come on down. And also Omen Black. I mean, what brings you here other than it's your show and you want to tell us what you'd like to say because it's your show?
First things first, I heard what Anthony said. No one's getting paid for Summer Bash.
I know. It was a joke. Calm down.
I'm just making it clear because some people may not think, someone's getting paid.
I think somebody from Maryland made that comment on Sunday show. Who was getting paid?
I am getting paid.
I want to talk about Maryland real quick.
I am getting paid though, Omen. I'm getting paid the same way I got paid at TBW.
Two hot dogs and a handshake.
They didn't even pay me that much. No, I get housing. I get free housing for 3 fucking days. I love it.
Do y'all need me anymore?
I want to talk about Maryland real quick.
Oh, Maryland. Now, what's in Maryland, by the way?
Hold on, buddy. I know you came in here to talk, but I just wanted to ask, do y'all even need me anymore? I mean, I've shared everything, or did y'all?
Fuck no, we don't need you. We never need you. Get the fuck out of here.
All right, well, if you gotta go, James, I mean, hopefully see you.
I don't gotta go. I
don't know. What are you telling us here?
You had your 20 minutes of ranting. You're good.
Well, if you want,
I want to slap the shit out of Anthony.
Do it. Do it.
Well, wait a minute.
Don't make me come to your house and beat your ass like I did Max 10 on Sportswire.
When are you? You know what, Anthony? When is Anthony getting booked in Michigan?
Whenever he decides to bring his sorry ass up there.
Yeah, James.
When are we getting him booked in Michigan?
Yeah, James, Mr. Owner.
Stay tuned.
Where's my contract? Where's my exclusive contract?
I don't know. You're talking your shit on me, boy.
Hey, listen. I'm gonna send you my contract, and it's gonna say that I have to be world champion.
Oh wait.
Well, it's up to you, James. We'll see you. If not, whatever. What's your call, James? It's
Will you sign that contract?
You want to stay, James? Whatever you want to do. You're a busy man. You got business calls with CJ Black and.
I say this. He may be the owner, but that doesn't mean he can't kick some ass, Anthony. So.
Yeah. Jason Storm.
Hey, look. He packed him. I put him with Spade. They packed their bags and they left. We ain't seen him in a while.
James is always here though in sports. What are you
talking about? In the ring. Not on sports.
He's an owner now. He's on the other side of the glass.
Because he can't do it no more.
No, he's
that's why I know.
Let me say one quick thing though.
That's why next time I get him in the ring, if he ever fucking wants to come back, I'm gonna beat his ass again, and I'm gonna send him the fuck out the door.
Offered, James, you can come back to Resi. He offered it.
I'm open to the idea. All they got to do is call me. But I mean, if they call me to come there and beat the shit out of you, Anthony, boy, I run circles around.
You ain't gonna do shit. Homie, I promise you, I'll smack the taste out your mouth and send you back to Alabama.
Homie, okay?
I 100% will smack the taste out of your mouth.
You want me to give them your phone number?
Anthony's got my phone number.
I know. Yeah, I do.
He's lucky he's got my phone number. I'm about to block his fucking ass too. He keeps
That's
talking
fine.
shit.
That's fine. It's not like you check in on me at all. I have to
like
call you all the time.
But you know what? Tom, I came here for wrestler's court.
I was going to mention that, I guess since we were talking about this and I kind of let it slip out before maybe James might want to stay on this, I have been hearing a lot of talk through the grapevine about, an individual that's named Silverwolf. And obviously there's been different things that he said he was going to do, and he's obviously not here tonight. And, there are different things that I guess he should have done, but I think that you were originally supposed to have C2K or Coach Chris Craven, but I think what we're doing instead is 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, Saturday night. I think we are going to have a wrestler's court in session. And I think the person to be brought up on that trial might be a big, bad Silverwolf. And you might see a whole panel of judges. And maybe you three gentlemen, what's your plans on Saturday night, by the way? I think we have a bail. Is there a bailiff available on this coming Saturday night for a wrestler's court?
Me.
Well, I think Mackie was the bailiff we were referring to.
Lick
Did you
his
get a
ear,
haircut,
Matt.
Mac, and a
Lick his
shave?
ear.
Dude, don't fucking lick my ear.
Lick his ear.
Well, he might. Well, Silverwolf.
But you know, let me
He's
say one
giving
thing
him them
about.
eyes.
Let me say one thing about someone in Maryland.
Yes. Let's get to Maryland. Good old
Or
Maryland.
a couple guys.
Mayor Eland. Mayor Eland. Let's go for it.
You know, I never had an issue with the owner. I've actually had nice words, like behind the scenes conversations with him.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to hear you say that you were always down for Summer Bash. I don't want to hear anyone in that locker room say they were down for Summer Bash, because you guys have made it clear when I brought up Summer Bash to you guys wanted nothing to do with it. Ego, we were trying to set something with ego, Foundation versus ego, and they thought it was a real fight. It just shows that these buffoons don't know what's from reality and what's from character. So I don't want to hear jack shit from when DBW comes on here about, oh, how come we didn't get invited to Summer Bash? You guys did. You guys didn't want to do it, so why ask you again? All I got to say.
Amen.
Can I ask you anything to follow up or no?
Go ahead and follow up.
You sure I can do that?
Yeah, hey, it's my show. I'm saying green light it. Go.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you.
It ain't your show.
It's Omen's show, and Mackie's
It ain't Omen's show.
You know, I think you're talking about that owner in Maryland. You're talking about those three guys' ego, and they claim that we were trashing their company. There was an individual who works there and said that we were trashing his company. But correct me if I'm wrong. We didn't trash their company. We talked about individuals that said that they didn't really want to be at Summer Bash or be a part of you guys. And now there was also an individual that is a regular contributor to our show that said he had reached out about Summer Bash.
Never said I didn't like the product. Never said anything bad about the product itself or the company. But when I hear people lie through their teeth through other people saying, oh, how come I never got to invite to Summer Bash? Or I would love to work with companies like IMF and TBW. You're lying. You're straight up lying.
And didn't you not reach out to them and ask them about wanting to collaborate? And what was the response that you guys had received?
We had got like the cold shoulder, like, oh, it wasn't worth their time, or these guys are like stuck in their bubble. Like, it's like, correct me if I'm wrong, Tom, it's like cult behavior. Like, everyone over there is a Kool-Aid drinker.
It's like David Koresh over there in Texas. Yeah, it's like it's almost like, James, remember David Koresh, that guy in Texas? That's what it's kind of like. Well, James will know exactly what I'm talking about. That's what some, might say. So from what I gathered, it sounded like that the offer really wasn't there. I couldn't speak on behalf of TBW. I don't think
there. I remember plenty of times coming on this platform right here that Summer Bash, everyone is invited. These guys never reached out, never were interested like everyone else was. So why keep asking them?
So do you think it's sincere when they talk about now the owner that he would love to collaborate, when it doesn't seem like that's sincere, at least? What would you say on that?
It's controlling the narrative. I'll just say it flat out.
It's controlled opposition because, it's easy to work with VTW. It's easy to work with NUW. It's easy to work with EBW. It's easy to work with those guys.
Now, I know I'll wake up tomorrow morning with a bunch of messages from around that area. I don't care.
You know what? Because who cares at this point?
Messaging me. I said everything I said tonight is the truth.
Ultimately, Summer Bash, right, is open collaboration, right? Open forums, right?
Correct.
Do you
But
think
now,
it's because people?
if these guys expect to come to Summer Bash and be on the card, we already got the official card laid out. They're dead wrong. They're wasting their time then.
Do you think though that the individuals in Maryland could really hang on a stream with James Taylor, Anthony Steele, and Omen Black and Soldier GP? Do you think that they?
No.
Yeah. You don't think so, right?
Want to know why?
Tell me why, because I'd love to know.
Because we're not drinking the Kool-Aid like they are over there. We actually have free will and free minds to use what the fuck we want to say and say whatever the fuck we want to say.
I know how James will start it off and be like,
They can't.
Listen here, kid.
I would love, dude. I would love to see like James Taylor and Mr. Judgment there. Mr. Judgment's like,
he'd be like this.
James
James would look at Mr. Judgment and he'd be like, "All right, listen here, kid. You got potential. you got potential. You got the passion for this, but I'm not feeling you.
I would love to see like
I would love to see that
I'd love to see like Austin James like with the bad Wi-Fi like smoking pot, and then like Anthony's like gonna like just bum rush. I don't think that honestly. Like,
what did Kevin Hart say? Oh yeah, they weren't ready.
Now I want to talk about a guy from Texas. Texas is the same fucking way.
Oh, I want to go after Texas. I got to be honest. I want to go. You know, we'll come back to Maryland.
Hey, that's our home state.
Nah, I mean, we
I
all know
love you in Texas,
Texas,
but I don't like that guy in ESW Shockwave. I'm sorry. That guy, to me, I mean, you want to talk about the Kool-Aid? I mean, the guy probably, like, thinks his own cologne could probably fill the state of Texas with that guy. That guy's got so strong cologne. He must walk around, like, literally, like, he would make Scarface look like nothing.
Me hating him so much is probably him thinking, oh, man, I'm doing such a good job with my character. I got so much heat. No, I don't like you because you don't see what you're doing is ultimately damaging the community.
He's a selfish jackass. Let's be honest. He's a selfish jackass. Seriously.
Can I say something? Because this is one thing that I've been asked about a lot, and that's been brought up on the show a lot. Is this is one of the biggest issues with traveling, especially in backyard. I see it a lot, and I mean fucking a lot. Is people that travel that are so headstrong on who the fuck they are. They go into a company and expect not to lose. They don't want to lose a damn fucking thing. And then they want to be put over and put over and put over and be like, oh, it's my character.
Are you saying that maybe the guys in Maryland are afraid that if they went to Summer Bash that they might not get the either particular match or the particular outcome?
I mean, look, I'm gonna say this. I'll bring up one of the best instances in my career. When I got in touch with IMF, when we set up me coming to IMF the time that I did, and this is I'm breaking kayfabe at this point because I don't give a fuck.
That's all we do on Sportswire at this point.
So out of character, Omen Black, chill as fuck. Literally, you could sit there and talk to Omen for fucking hours. You can have a drink with Omen, and he'll fucking sit there and you'll have a time of your fucking life. I went there, and he was like, "Look," he was like, "I don't want you leaving, thinking that you drove all the way up here because it was an 8.5 hour drive without like nothing." And he was like, "So this is what we're going to do." He was like, because I told him beforehand, since the match has already fucking happened, we're going to break kayfabe. I was like, I don't mind putting you over. You're an up and coming talent. I've established myself already. It makes you look good. And in character, you're a piece of shit. Out of character, you're fucking awesome. And so they put me in a match with Jordan Nets first. They wanted me to work with one of their up and comers.
I remember this.
And I have no problem with it. I taught fucking Jordan Nets how to do a tilt-a-whirl fucking DDT. Literally picked his ass up, trained him, fucking flipped him over, boom. Sold that bitch in the match. Loved it. He fucking loved it. I go in the match with Omen. Me and him put on a fucking banger. I fall to him, let him take the fucking win. Cool. Create a good fucking storyline. Hashtag long-term storytelling. People need to understand what the fuck that is. People nowadays don't understand what it means to put over other talent. For the simple fact, if I saw right now, with me being established the way I am, if I were to go to Here's the difference. If I were to go to a company like Triple W, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be 100% honest. If I'm going there to help them, I'll help them. I'm not dropping. I'm 100% not dropping. They don't have the tools for it, and it makes no fucking sense. Because no offense, Omen, before I came there, actually looked like an established wrestler. He had his moveset, he had his character, he had his entrance, he had his storylines,
and they were hot. They came on the newest sessions. James
he had everything a wrestler should fucking have. Now, if I would walk into Triple W, they have nothing. They have no storylines. They have no character work. They have no character development. They have
That's
nothing.
What we're trying to bring him here, but the guys don't. Silverwolf doesn't want to.
Hold on. So the thing about it is they are expecting. I'm gonna fucking out this motherfucker. Fuck this shit. Fucking Silverwolf messages me, and he looks at me and he goes, "I'm gonna have a match with you at Summer Bash."
James had to go. Family emergency. We'll see James soon. Maybe.
He said, "I'm gonna have a match with you at Summer Bash." And when Omen unmutes his mic, he can verify this because I went and talked to him about it.
Yeah,
Omen likes it.
He says, "I'm gonna have a match with you at Summer Bash." Cool. He's like, "I'm gonna defend my hardcore title." Okay. I'm gonna go over. No, the fuck you're not. No. That is the one time I'll play my fucking my Legends card. No, the fuck not.
Anthony didn't even have to no.
Like
not happening.
And so I look at him. I was like, no offense, it makes zero fucking sense for you to produce product that looks like complete ass, and then me, show the fuck up to Summer Bash and lose to you. People are gonna look at me like I'm the biggest fucking joke of all fucking time. Like when James Ellsworth beat AJ Styles, he didn't beat him clean. He beat him because of Dean Ambrose. So it made sense why James Ellsworth beat AJ Styles while he was world champion. But for me to lose clean in a hardcore match to Silverwolf, homie, I could beat that dude's ass with one arm tied behind my back and without using the Claymore. I could do anything. I could fucking chokeslam that motherfucker where he wouldn't want to get the fuck up. And I sit there.
You know what this dude did recently? I'll just out him now.
Let's go for
You tried poaching our talent.
Here. Let me out him again. Let me out him the fuck again. So this is Monday. We're on Tuesday night. Monday night. So last night at 6:51 p.m. This is what I get. What up? I'm not coming to Summer Bash. I have no way there or the money for it. And thank you for everything. But I'm going to have fun with my friends and do our shows. Plus, I don't have time for PWF. Sorry, bro. So literally, we'll sit here as we are trying to help him. And this is where, at this point, I've kind of like stopped helping people that really don't. I can tell.
We had Van Hansen last night. Was like we were more than generous with him. He said it on the show. We were more than generous with him.
Okay. If I'm gonna sit here and take my time, 7 years in this business, 7 fucking years. I started from nothing and gained my fucking following for what I've done, for the matches I fucking put on. And like any company will say, everyone could talk about how I got anger issues, how I could fucking go off on some motherfucker, which trust me, in a staring contest.
Yeah.
I don't think that. Hey, listen. In order for a staring contest, he has to look both ways, and no offense, he goes one way and looks the fucking other.
By the way, Anthony, you remember the deal we had with Silverwolf, correct?
Stay tuned Saturday, huh?
So we'll out that Saturday.
Oh boy.
But he looks at me and he goes, "So what do you want to do?" And this is what I told him. And I'm gonna out this out because it's not happening. So, and this is again where I pull my Legends card. I was like, if we face that Summer Bash, this is what's gonna happen. I said, I'm going to beat you. I'm going to beat you clean. And then I told him I was going to try to come up around there in October. I said, I want you to sit there and train. Train. And then if I see progress, I will sit there and look at him in his good eye. And hey, listen, if I want to have a staring contest with Pennywise, I'll go help Bill Skarsgård. All right. So I told him, I was like, I'm not losing to you. I will drop the title back off to you. Like, if you can show me that you've earned it, you've earned the right. Because at that point, if you aren't going to sit here and train, if you ain't going to do what we've done, which is sit here and fucking bust your ass to fucking train and do what you need to do to making yourself an established wrestler, there's no point of
None of the Triple W people were here tonight. None of them. Ark actually was here. Ark was the only one, but Felios wasn't here. Silver Wolf wasn't here. Whoever else was in there.
And here, I'm gonna say this. Hey, Bryn. You hold on. I gotta say this. It's not even to his comment. Hey, Bryn. You messaged me. You said you want fireworks. You're about to get some fucking fireworks. So Adonis Felios, please, I want you to watch this because now it's your fucking turn, buddy. So you want to come on here while I'm dogging your fucking your fucking friends that you call talent, and sit here and say that I targeted you, that I came at you for what you do. I didn't then, but I'm about to now. So get on the fucking ride. You, my good friend, you can't wrestle either. You're in the fucking same like system as Silver Wolf. You think going to the fucking gym is training? That's not training. I've seen your videos where y'all two go to the fucking gym, and I'm 100% disgusted of how you think that is training. When literally the amount that you lifted. And I'm not saying this to like knock on anyone because there are smaller guys that can't lift that much, but the amount the size of you guys, the size of y'all's build, I can lift what you lifted with one arm, with one leg.
Well, how much was it?
Dude, it was like 50.
I knew you were going to say. I knew that was the number.
50, maybe 60. Look, I had many conversations with
He's saying he likes you, basically. You have good passion. What you do? You're here every time on the show. And
hey, look, TBK, I know someone's going to get pissed off when I say this. And Tom, you know who I'm talking about when I say this. TBK, love you, man. I respect you.
I hope he gets
I ain't got no beef with you. I ain't got no beef with you. You ain't got no beef with me. You keep it straight with me. I keep it straight with you. But back to this.
Let me say two things before I go because it's late for me.
Okay, I'll let you
this dude tried poaching talent. As you all know, Jordan Netz is IMF roster.
Absolutely.
Well-respected wrestler, former IMF world champion.
Yep.
Silver Wolf messaged him, "Hey, do you want to join RCEW?" And so Dirty Donnie messaged him, "Hey, are you trying to steal our talent?" And he just full on said yes. Like a fucking idiot.
Hey, look. This is the closest that they can say they can be a real world champion.
But you know what? I like now that I'm on Sportswire and it's a live thing. I know Silver's probably watching this or tomorrow. We had a deal, dipshit. If you didn't show up to Summer Bash, now I get to pick a wig for you to wear for your entire year for your wrestling career.
He ain't gonna do it.
And I'm thinking
he shouldn't have a wrestling career though.
I'm thinking something flamboyant and bright colored.
He ain't Sugar Sean O'Malley. Calm down.
Just imagine him cross-eyed in a fucking blue wig.
He would fit. Wouldn't he fit well in Maryland? Some would say then maybe they would use him.
No, like I said, I'm not knocking the fucking product in Maryland, but I'm gonna knock them lying.
I think that, to make it clear, no one was knocking Maryland's product. I think that there was individuals in question, and really one individual, not even the other three individuals, because individual.
I like AJ. Me and Austin James, we've had a nice conversation. We actually were cool. I don't know about now, but we're
probably not. I mean, I'll be honest, probably not. They're probably not cool.
With us, Mr. Judgment, we were cool, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend like you were telling the truth, though, Mr. Judgment, because you weren't. You weren't. I heard the messages you sent to Tom. You're a stone cold fucking liar saying you wanted to work with IMF. You wanted to go to Summer Bash. No, you didn't. So stop.
So, I do want to say this. If I know you don't know what I know, but I know he's watching. Hey Corey, how you doing, buddy? Long time.
Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, boy.
But back to where,
Go
like,
ahead.
this is where sparks are about to fly. Is y'all look at Omen, and you tell him you want to wrestle. When you show up to Summer Bash, you don't want to wrestle anyone else. You don't want to wrestle outside talent. Silverwolf, you look at Omen and tell him you want to wrestle Adonis Felios on Summer Bash, where Summer Bash is meant for outside companies to wrestle other outside competitors. If you want to wrestle Adonis Felios, go grab a mattress, put it in a fucking field, and wrestle him there.
That's the only person that would take the match. Let's be honest.
But I'm gonna say this: like I've held my tongue a lot lately about some certain shit, and there's still more to come next Wednesday.
Oh, it's gonna be. I think it's
There's still some more to
early
come.
4th of July.
But
But
another thing that I do want to shoot on
yes,
is when I get connections with people, I tend to have those connections until they fuck me over, and when they fuck me over, then I let them have it. And I've made a really good connection with the boys of IMF.
we know that from a long time ago. It's been a long time relationship. We know
Omen
that.
Black, Soldier GP, shout out Soldier, out of character, chill as fuck. XCW.
Oh, let's go for it.
At this point,
I'm ready for that.
at this point, Tom, can I speak on XCW?
You can say
Well, you know what? I gotta
anything.
go, but I'm
Okay.
definitely gonna listen to this in the morning.
Thank you, oh man. We'll see you later on your show. Probably see you Thursday. You can absolutely speak on XCW. Oh, I love
XCW. Let's talk, boys.
Mm.
Hi. So, how do you feel about losing one of the best fucking talents you have in DJ Walbert because you want to fucking misuse and mistreat him? How do you feel about when you have people working for your company that have a working relationship with another company and they get, basically from what I'm figuring out, they get scared that you're going to take shit away from them if they continue to work with them company because you don't want your name slandered. I'm sorry, if you don't want your name slandered, don't do some dumbass fucking bullshit that's going to get your name slandered. Because when XCW, when I first saw y'all, when I first heard about y'all, listen, when they approached me, it's because I did a show for fucking Captain Law's fucking show. I did one match for Captain Law, and their talent told Fletch to hire me because they saw what I could fucking do. They saw how good I was in the fucking ring. I come to your show. I do your tapings. I have some of the greatest fucking matches. I will say this. He might not be able to fucking talk, but he can work like a motherfucker. Miano fucking Diaz.
Yeah, Miano is just a great
Miano is great. For as young as he is, he's one of the best workers I've seen.
He's younger than Aaron Blasey.
Yeah. DJ Wahlberg, one of the best fucking talents. Shout out to DJ. Hands fucking down, three of the best matches I've ever had.
He's the most viewed XCW interview in Sportswire history. You know that? He's the most viewed one.
Justin Parsley.
Love Justin.
You, man.
3-time Hall of Famer.
Love you, dude. The conversations we've had outside of here. Love it.
Chris Jones, I'm a fan. He messages me every day, Chris Jones. I love
Chris Jones. Me and you, we've had talks. I ain't got nothing against you, man. But here's the thing that I got against. Hey, Fletch. Fletchy boy. Now it's time for me to shoot on you.
Oh, let's go. I love it.
Because at this point, there ain't no point of Anthony still returning to XCW.
They ain't coming to sports. Fletch ain't coming back. Be honest.
Fletch, you come on here. You try to tell someone what they can and cannot do on their own goddamn show. How about I fucking tell you how to run XCW? Get ACT away from that fucking world title spot. Thank fucking God that he's no longer world champion.
He's got the international title though, which is
that's even fucking worse. If you want me to be technical, his brother was a better wrestler. ACT was a better mic guy. So SAT better wrestler, better on the mic. ACT. You have one. Let's talk about what doesn't make sense. You have Captain Law, and this ain't me fucking taking his side. This is me dogging on what the fuck you did. have him win basically the Money in the Bank briefcase to fucking cash in on not the XCW World Championship, on a whole nother company's fucking World Championship. What the fuck? That's like fucking Damian Priest cashing in on the TNA World Championship. What the fuck is that? That makes zero fucking sense. And
So
then-
how many
and
CBDs were they smoking when they made that decision?
Dude, homie, you might as well be dropping acid like fucking what is his fucking name?
Machine Gun Kelly? Machine
No,
Gun Kelly.
fucking Deacon Storm. You're
Okay.
dropping acid like Deacon fucking Storm, bro. For everyone that don't know, the reason why Deacon Storm is no longer with XCW is because he dropped 4 times of acid
Yeah.
before a day of the show and couldn't
Yeah.
fucking make it. So he
Yeah.
called him a druggie. Ho. Dude, what the fuck are y'all smoking over there, bro? You smoking on styrofoam? I fucking bet you, bro.
Yo,
Like y'all are fried out of your fucking minds, dude. That your shows can't even pull more than what 300-400 views, and y'all
the
used to
biggest
fucking
one
make,
the last year they had was Summer Mania just broke 1,000. That's the one
look,
last year. They hit
okay. So your biggest event of the fucking your biggest event period is your biggest draw. I understand that.
1,000.
Everyone loves big events. Fucking TBW anniversary literally drew over 3,000 views.
And
It's their biggest
TBW
event.
had 98
And-
people watching live.
And that's not me knocking. That's not me knocking
listen.
TBW. So TBW, don't think I'm knocking you.
TBW
I'm
had
saying-
98 people watching live. XCW premium shows usually only have at most, like, if they're lucky on a good show, 15. 15.
But
TBW, at least, they have like 30 something. So, like, you could see there's the barometer. Like, there are companies that, I'm going to say it, we may not get as many views as wrestling shows out, but there are Sportswire lives that get more lives than XCW.
but here's another thing. You know how you said you burn bridges?
Oh, absolutely. There's no question
Here,
about it.
let me burn a couple bridges real quick.
Let's go. Let's go. For it.
For the simple fact, y'all don't know me, but I know. Well, you know of me, and I know of you. So let's talk about. And please don't tell me no, because I gotta say this. Let's talk about AWL. AWL.
Go for it. I mean,
Look,
go for it.
listen.
They do work with the platform, but go for
Hey,
it.
AWL. Hillbilly Tilly, before I say anything, I have nothing against you, brother. Nothing. I think what you do here on Sportswire is fucking phenomenal. You're one of the most tuned in fucking people in the world. For Sportswire Radio. Offers for I don't give a fuck.
I'll put it back up. So basically, Josh wanted to say that they had an offer to come up because they were putting up the ring for season 8. And then what he's referring to is when Fletch did his show with Aaron Blaze and they kind of took some shots at TBW. Which is, by the way, didn't Fletch take a shot at CJ Black the other day on one of his free time shows that nobody watched? So that's what they do, you know.
Look,
That's why I asked tonight, are we in the month? It seems like to me we're in the Monday Night Wars right now. We got Indiana, you got Maryland, North Carolina, they're up there, Texas.
So AWL. I'm gonna say this. This is the only thing I can really talk about as of right now on what y'all are doing. Y'all come here on Sportswire. I get you want to promote what you want to promote. You want to promote your show. I'm fine with that. Promote the fuck out of your show. Interact. When I come on here, you know how many guys I've had on this fucking screen when it's supposed to be my show? When it's supposed to be my day? And next Wednesday, I'm going live on Sportswire Radio. It's supposed to be my show. You're going to see guys go on Sportswire Radio with me. See, that's the thing. That's what's called building a relationship with
It's
talent.
collaboration, and there are companies that don't believe
Collaborating
in
is key, dude. WWE is now figuring out the best thing. A lot of people give AEW bullshit for this, but one of the best things
They
AEW
work
has
with
ever done.
Impact, they work with NWA, Japan,
Forbidden
100%.
Door. We're about to have Forbidden Door. Forbidden Door is one of the greatest.
And that's what we're doing
combinations.
here. Is the Forbidden Door. We're opening the door.
Literally, y'all need to understand. What is his name? Fucking the world champion. Fucking
Impact.
No, AWL.
ADT.
ADT. I almost said ACT, but ADT. Listen, dude. Character work, cool. You got your character down. You're a snot-nosed brat that fucking literally thinks he's better than everybody. Congratulations. You ain't the real deal, so you ain't better than fucking me. I promise that. But you got to interact, man. You can't sit here and be like, I don't want nobody on my show. I don't want anyone to interact with me. Homie, you could be the fucking president of the United States brother for all I give a fuck. I'm still going to talk my shit. I'm going to say what the fuck I want to say. Because at that point, that's what gets the people to view you. Because if you're not going to interact with other fucking people, no, everyone's going to look at you and be like, this company don't want to collaborate. They don't want to do this. They don't want to do that. I literally have a conversation with D'Angelo the Flame. Me and D'Angelo are really cool.
And he's going to AWL, and he's going back there, by the way.
Yeah, you guys, he said the time down there was fucking phenomenal. You guys, y'all treated him very fucking well. And that's what I asked him. I was like, how do they treat outside talent? That was my number one fucking question. I asked that for any company that is, if I know someone that's worked with another company and I want to work with them, I ask them that number one question. How do they treat outside talent? Because if they treat you like shit, there's no fucking point in me showing the fuck up. Because again, I've established my fucking name for 7 fucking years, and it's going to be another 20, 30, 40 years that I'm still going to establish my name. But you can't sit here and come on Sportswire where you see everyone else. Like, I get it if there's something you want to talk about and be like, you know, just give me a little bit of time to speak on what I want to speak of. Cool. But to just look at someone like, I don't want them on. And no one can come on. It's my fucking time. Homie, I offer any person on, and I will say this live on Sportswire right now. Wednesday, June 19th. I fucking accept anybody that wants to come talk to me, whether that's AWL, TBW, XCW, IMF, DKW, fucking UWA, fucking NEW, fucking DBW,
yeah, throw them all in there.
Like any company. If you want to have a conversation with the real deal Anthony Steele, I invite you to come on and see
ROEW. Throw them in ROEW.
Like literally, here's a confrontation I want. Here's something I want to do, and I'm gonna lay out the challenge because I know you're fucking watching. Hey, CJ Black, I want to see you on Wednesday night. I want to see you on the fucking mic with the real deal because I promise you, you're good in the ring. I'm not gonna knock you, but you're not Anthony Steele good.
So you're telling me you want CJ Black, the good guy, the 7-star superstar, live with you next Wednesday?
Hey, listen, you might be the 7-star guy due to the Copper Dragon, but you ain't got nothing on the real deal, Anthony Steele. Because when I shoot fucking straight, and there ain't a damn thing a person.
So what are you saying about it? What were you trying to say though about AWL? I mean, they are collaborating.
Okay. What I'm saying is, when you come on Sportswire, the one thing I love to do is let other people talk.
I agree with that.
Because then it builds. Because at that point, if y'all come on here, say you come on here with me on the 19th, we can then work out something that gets the attention of the audience. They will then get invested and be like, all right, when is Anthony still going to show up to AWL? Is this going to happen? And then they're going to think, hey, when you're all host Open Challenge, oh, Anthony still might be there. Or if I host Open Challenge, ADT might show up.
They have a mindset that they're going in a direction that they would like to go. So what the argument would be, and again, I'm not doing this to support, but companies like XCW, companies like AWL, and say DBW, for example, they may not want other people to be here because they believe in, from their vantage point, if you believe in those individuals, more so in XCW and DBW, but let's throw AWL in for the argument's sake, that it's about the storyline. They believe in a story. So Anthony Steele, Omen Black, or James Taylor coming on their stream and that's Austin G's argument. His argument's that it doesn't build a storyline for me. What would you say to that?
I feel it's not that it doesn't build a storyline. And I'm not saying this is for you, but I feel like most of these guys that come on here that don't want to fucking shoot fucking shit with another fucking wrestler is afraid that they'll get buried.
Well,
they're
afraid. I actually
100% afraid to get buried by someone like me.
I think that there's a lot of people, right? So if you take a lot of these shows, right? You take anybody outside of IMF, TBW, you take out ROEW, because I think that Jack Delta, it's monumental to be here, and he's in a different category. I think Big Man Cam was here. He can definitely talk. He's a very, very, a larger than life presence. There are companies that come, Jake Matthews, NEW. There are companies that come on here and they can talk. TBW, I think DKW, Resurrection. I got to mention, I love Brezzy talks to me more than actually almost everybody.
I will say this. I want Ronnie Brady on Wednesday
He's
night.
He's here tomorrow. But my point is that there are companies, honestly, that, I would say those 3 or 4 promotions that their guys honestly don't have either the character skills or the personalities, because you got to remember, this is the platform that has the most larger. Listen, there are more larger than life personalities here than Indian pro guys. So you got to remember, from their vantage point, right? Take a step back. If I'm Miano Diaz, if I'm Mitchell Maverick, if I'm Eric Mason, if I'm, Brogan O'Shea, if I'm ACT, if I'm Mr. Judgment, if I'm Brandon Castelli, if I'm Roland, and I'm not knocking these guys personally.
Hey, I contacted Mr. Judgment last night. So,
and what he tell you?
I mean, I didn't have a conversation with him. I just contacted him.
But
he hit me up and he said, and I quote, "Hey there, how can I help you?"
Yeah, it's all BS. It's all framing the narrative. Listen, but here's Kick the Ballistics. Those particular companies, again, I don't want to knock AWL because, a lot of the guys come here, but they don't have the character development skills. The companies that regularly play ball here, TBW, Resi, NEW, ROEW, James is a part of that. You have to throw them in. IMF, WCE, DKW, those companies. Maybe I'm missing one, I don't know if I put UWA in there, to be honest. I don't know enough of them on here, how they react. But to me, the main companies, the usuals that are here, these are the ones that can talk. There's companies that come on here and you look at it, but based on, listen, let's be honest. Look at the algorithms. When certain companies come on here, the numbers drop. When certain people come on here, the numbers go up. Why? Because people want to hear interesting talk. People know that Anthony Steele, James Taylor, Omen Black, Soldier GP, they know that Jack Delta comes here when he does. They know that certain people draw numbers. They know that Gabe Sayers was here. How about Gabe Sayers? Gabe Sayers drew a lot of people. You can say what you want about Titan and Allen. They draw numbers. Dustin Alexander drew numbers last time. D'Angelo the Flame draws numbers. Ronnie Brady's going to draw numbers tomorrow. Ronnie
Brady ain't gonna draw shit.
No, he is, because you're gonna.
Ronnie Brady ain't gonna draw shit for the simple fact that he's gonna say the same fucking thing.
But I think that leave aside like larger than Ledger Shade and Jack Delta are in a completely different ballgame. They are larger than life and they've done different things. But the usuals that come here, you can tell who drives the algorithms and who does not. You know that when XCW. When XCW and AWL comes in here, the numbers drop because people know that there's not an emotional character to it, and it's not a knock.
It's not even emotional. Y'all want the key. Y'all want the key, and I hear this all the fucking time.
You tell me.
Controversy gets views.
It depends. I think Ledger Shade and Jack Delta didn't need controversy. They were here. They drew big numbers.
It's not about they need controversy. It is the controversy.
Well,
let me explain. With Ledger Shade, love the dude to death. Sat there, had a fucking phone call with him for like 2.5, almost 3 hours.
Right.
Literally, will sit there. Really cool fucking dude in my book. Controversy, because everyone heard about what the fuck happened with TBW. No one's seen Ledger.
On here and talk controversy.
Yeah, I know. No one's seen Ledger in what, 6 months?
I think it's the moment that solidified where this platform's going. To me, you know what I think that moment was? Since we're here, to me, you know what that moment meant to me? That was, you remember when you hear about Mike Tyson when he showed up to WWF?
Yeah.
To lead to Stone Cold Steve Austin WrestleMania. To me, that was the Ledger Shade coming here was like Mike Tyson coming to WWF. To me, that was the moment that people were like, okay, Sportswire and All Wrestling Matters is a ball game. And that's where the floodgates have opened since. And I think that, listen, that's the moment. So he didn't I think Jack Delta's last appearance was his greatest appearance. And he didn't have any controversy. And I think I
don't think that blonde hair's working, but
I think it's the best. I think he's going to have the greatest run of his career. I will put my money on him and that. But I think my point is that I agree with you in that the guys that come on here from Legendary Backyard Wrestling, XCW, AWL, and DBW, for those, not to signal them out, those companies in particular come on here, and people, it's not that they're crickets, but they know that they're here, but
Another big thing that I got to say about the yard is, all right, I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna 100%
because of this one, we're going another 15 more minutes.
Is that when you get on Sportswire Radio or you listen to Sportswire Radio and you hear about the shit that goes on behind the scenes, and you get to understand, what a person's like, and then you get people like me who will out certain people. If y'all don't understand what that means, because some people say I talk Northerner and they don't understand, that means when I expose them motherfuckers for who the fuck they are, you then go and continue to work with them. And then what I've told Triple W, when you work with somebody that has a bad name, you then gain a bad name. Because at that point, you are willing to work with toxic people. And what that creates is a toxic environment. And when you create a toxic environment, then you have wrestlers like me, like Jack Delta, like Ronnie Brady, like James Taylor, like Omen Black, Soldier GP, Jimmy Controversy, Mac 10.
And how about Rad Dad? Rad Dad was here, and Rad Dad was controversy.
Like, you have guys like that will sit there and they'll be like, all right, I was scoping out your show. I liked it, but you're working with that person. And I'm gonna name them because I've said it before, I'll say it again. Any person that works with Zack Attack, after I've literally outed them, and I'll play I literally have a recording that was sent to me of where, that would be cool to see.
Yeah, that guy, I'm sure you're going to tell him right now is Zack Attack.
Literally, you have a guy like Zack Attack who, admittedly, and I showed it, you could go back and watch I think it was the latest, no, not the latest one, not when I got inducted, but the one before that, where I outed.
That was the one,
when I outed Zack Attack about.
You made Max, chaotic mad. Yeah,
Like, it's people that will sit here and be like, "Oh, I'll work with them." That's what makes you look like a fool, because at that point you put a bad reputation around your own name.
But you also put in the communities in a bad name.
Exactly. Because have y'all ever heard the phrase? Some of y'all haven't. Some of y'all have. It takes one bad seed to ruin the batch. One bad seed to ruin the batch. For the simple fact that Zack Attack is a bad seed. He is a really bad seed. And you're still.
But people are also seeing now who's the bad actors. People are seeing who are the people, and I think that the people want the realness. Listen. I'll be honest with you. When I do shows without Anthony Steele, without James Taylor, without Omen Black, Soldier GP, without the four of you, the big people that always, or even Mackie Boy. I think it's like not the same night on Sportswire. We get these guys again. I'm not knocking them. We're all wrestling matters, and I like AW. I think they're a good product. I do get along with the guys. They have an opinion, but I don't put them in XCW's category or DBW because I think that they have.
I'm not saying their product is bad. I'm really not.
They've worked, but at least they've worked with people, and I think there are a lot of good guys.
My thing is not that I'm knocking y'all. It's I think interacting more. Because
I don't think guys can. I think a lot of guys come on here and they used to listen. Here's what it comes down to. In the last 4 or 5 months, right? Why have the numbers gone up on Sportswire, right? Why have they gone up? Because people want an emotional attachment and controversy. They want the truth. They want realness. To me, we're living in the attitude era right now at this. Last year I would do the interviews and oh my God, you're so great. But you'd hear them and, some of them would bomb. Some of them were great. But what we've seen, we're starting to see, like, who's the truth? Who is really the ones that can come on here and spit rhymes? Who are the people that can come on here and represent the community? If we're building a community in open collaboration, you are seeing those that can hang, and unfortunately, those who cannot hang. And there are a lot of people that can't hang. XCW talent, with the exception of Justin Parsley, DJ Walbert, and Chris Jones when he's been here. The rest of their talent, aside from Fletch, because he's the owner, they really can't hang on this platform. AWL,
I will give it to Tommy.
Tommy Merriam was great, but he's not a draw. I mean, if you're going to be real, he's not a draw on this platform. AWL, I love those guys. they're not really draws. I mean, ADT might be a draw because people might not like him and they want to see him croak. That's what they're paying attention to. They want to see if he can bust under.
I'll say this. Y'all, and I understand people want character work. Here's some character work. ADT. When it comes to wrestling, CJ Black got your number like 10,000 fucking times. If it's between you and CJ Black, I'd rather watch a CJ Black match. For the simple fact that yeah, he has an ego. He's the good guy. But I believe he can carry himself better. I believe that in the ring, he's 10 times better than you. And I believe that in the ring, you're
and
not.
Let me address what Peter Richards wants to say. And I also want to say, Big Man Cam, I don't consider XCW. That's why I take him in a different light. So I want to actually single him out because I consider him ROEW ALW, by the way. And this is Peter's line, which I want to agree with Peter, but I want to tell him why he was a different perspective. I honestly want to see people on here in further storylines, actually to build to matches. We see people constantly talk about companies, but see, I agree with you, but the problem is we have guys on here, and when they talk, it
doesn't happen.
Exactly. It's almost like sex without love. It's like your guys that come on here and they don't have it. I think that there are guys that come on here and can do it, but people, I think, do want to hear that there is that kind of like rah, rah, rah. I think, listen, I could bring on XCW. I could bring on DBW, and we're going to do that. Big Tex is going to be here Monday, if unless shots are more fire and they just tell him not to come on. But, he's going to come on, and it's going to be his roster, and that's it. There's going to be guys. We had Napalm Sunday, legendary backyard wrestling, trampoline, hell of a guy, veteran. What did it draw on YouTube?
My whole thing is, it doesn't matter if you wrestle on a trampoline. It doesn't matter if you wrestle on the ground.
Listen, you can tell when people they don't have it. They don't have the
exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I was about to say. Is it doesn't matter where you wrestle.
Don't have the investment that come on here.
Exactly.
Has it. Soldier has it. You has it.
Yeah,
James definitely has it. I think Alan Michaels has it. I think Titan has it. I think Josh has it. I think LaFlame has it now. I think Ronnie's going to be big tomorrow. I think
Ronnie can. The one thing I'll say this: y'all want character work? I'll give you like 10 seconds of character work. Ronnie Brady says he's good. But Ronnie, listen to me, buddy, when I say this. What you look at right now is greatness at its fucking greatest. If you want to fucking say it. Because at this point, I in character and out of character, I bust my ass for this. Like, this is literally, I've said it multiple times. I don't mind creating storylines. I don't mind building something that someone will want to see. Like me and James. When me and James come on here, we talk shit. We throw shots at each other. A lot of people didn't like when I toned down what I was doing on Sportswire because they like to see the controversy. They like to see me,
I said the same thing. I think that's what the last 4 months. But you know what? There are companies that have embraced it. I think conversely, listen. DKW's been with us. We have ALW coming on board. I think NEW, Jake Matthews, he's doing something big. I can't tell you what the details are. Gabe Sayers always comes back to Sportswire. I think that there are people that love what we're doing. I think W's, you can say what you want about Craven Rage, but you know what? He's devoted. He loves this sport. He loves the spirit. How about Sean Jovi? I mean, there's a lot of guys.
The greatest wrestler in Wisconsin, yes.
And I think Big Man Cam has been another example of a guy that he's become on the team. Big Man Cam, I just think this guy's got dollar signs written over. He's another guy that's taken the bull by the horns. I think there's more people that have actually taken to this than others. Now, listen, I could be a podcast like everybody else, just bring guys on and talk, and it's nice. But I don't think we're here at 1:00 in the morning, New York time, and 30 plus people. You know why? Because people want to hear this. They want change. They want something new. They want to be able to see the truth. They want the realness. Listen, guys can come on, and I'm going to continue to do it. Listen, there's going to be guys, there's going to be duds coming up. I'm not going to lie. There's going to be guys that come on here, DBW, if they want to come on Sportswire, they're more than welcome. But the guys do not have the emotional invokeness that You guys, listen, I love guys like Brandon Costelli. I love what they do. I love Robert Pearson and Jacob Cassidy, but they come on here and they don't have the invokeness. People, listen, Anthony Steele pulls people out to watch. James Taylor pulls people out to watch. Atomic Titan pulls people out to watch. Beast pulled out people to watch. You have Josh Allen pulls out people to watch. Sean Jovi. I don't want to make this a numbers game on people and deny people the right to be here, but there are people that want to be here, and you know that you want to tune. Like I want to tune in to hear, Anthony Steele. I want to tune in to hear Omen. I want to hear Jovi. I want to hear Soldier. I want to hear James. I want to hear Titan. Do I really want to tune in and hear like Miano Diaz? No, but Justin Parsley is the one guy I would want to tune into because Justin Parsley can talk. Justin Parsley is cool. He's funny. He's a good wrestler. He gets it.
Well, that's why we're the real deals. All right,
yes, Jack. Now I think Jack and Ledger are completely, entirely different ball game because they're an attraction. But I think
I still say that to this day. And Delta, I know you're in the comments. I know you're watching this. I know you can hear when I say this. If y'all want real shit, Delta's the reason why I started traveling. Delta's the
reason we have All Wrestling Matters. He's the one, didn't even know it, that he created this. He laid he's the father of it. Listen, you think about moments, this guy didn't even know it, and that's why we're here right now. I think you have Aaron Blaze, yourself, Omen and Soldier, Jovi now. You guys all traveling is because Jack did it. So he didn't even look. And LaFlame's the new one. All you guys that have done the traveling, it's because of Jack. At the end of the day, this is why we're here. We're a movement. To me, there are people that want to be here and not want to be. Listen, I'm not knocking DBW and XCW. There's a lot of great people in there. I think their locker room is going to be loyal to what people they were misconstrued. But the facts are, is at the end of the day, there are people that draw as an emotional attachment. Listen, I think Gabe Sayers is a guy that he actually didn't have controversy. He drew. I think LaFlame is an example. If you can talk and you have a story, people will tune into you. But there are guys that come on here. Look, look, it is what it is. I think Big Man Cam's come on here recently. He's a guy that can hang. I think UWA, I think they can hang within a context. I don't know if they can hang on. I don't know if Jake Howell can hang with Anthony Steele on a stream. I love Jake Howell. I don't know how it'll work, but there are going to be people that feel that they need to be only to tell the storyline promoted. And again, I'm not knocking them for that. I haven't done a lot of British independent wrestling, and guys come on here and can't hang. They can't hang because people don't have it in them. Wrestling is
I really want to be on Sportswire when one of the British wrestlers come on here. I really do. One of the people I really want to go on Sportswire with.
Tribal Cheese.
Tribal Cheese.
When he comes back, he's the one. I will say this. He is the one British draw, aside from like James Barris, the owner of CCW. Tribal Cheese is the one British wrestler that I bring on that he transcends everybody else because he's such a good talker. He's like one of us. He totally gets it. There are guys that come on my platform from there who honestly are
marketing.
But there are guys, listen, there's a lot of independent British wrestlers that come on here. And, honestly, look, there are a lot of wrestlers that they're doing it just for fun, doing it just for a hobby. So you can't knock some guys personally. Now, there are guys that come on here and, ultimately at the end of the day, they want to be perceived a certain way. But when you really listen, I want to keep knocking Austin G, but I'm going to say it anyway. Austin G, it was a great moment to have him. But if you really think about it in the context of the moment, he was not as big of an attraction as Ledger Shade and Jack Delta. You can't. The numbers show, the algorithms on Instagram and YouTube showed that.
I'm gonna say,
yeah.
If I wanted to see Ace Ventura on Sportswire, I would have fucking just went and.
Dude, Dalton Skull drew more views than him. Just almost. Gabe Sayers outdrew him. And you know what? I'll even say it. Jimmy Controversy's come on here. He drew more than Austin G. And we had Rad Dad Radley Belmont, who's the founding father of the Global Backyard Wrestling Network. Nobody talks about that. Rad Dad was here. He endorsed what we're doing. He endorsed it. He physically said, yes, I believe in what you're doing. So to me, there are people that come on here and can conduct. I think Cato did very well, right? Cato was here. He did great. If you can talk, people will tune into you. If you can't talk, and there's a lot of guys that unfortunately they can't talk. If they can't talk and you can't, and then they want to only be here by themselves, this is a different podcast. This is a movement. We're building a movement. If you can hang in the movement, you're here. And that's simple as that.
So on Sportswire Radio, I come on here for one reason and one reason only. It is to market.
And Brian
Okay.
White, I didn't want to spoil that, Mr. Tibbs. Thank you for spoiling it. But yeah, he'll be here next Friday.
Marketing is key. I've said this multiple times on Sportswire. If you can't market yourself, no one can market you. Because no company, no offense, if they're producing you, if they're putting you on their product, they need you to not only market them, but market yourself. Because if they're the only one marketing you,
well,
then
that's
at that point,
XCW's
that's
biggest problem. XCW has poor social media. They do not promote their people on sports.
you want to know the worst thing that XCW does? Which, hold on, and this is where I can shoot on them again. Y'all got pissed off because I fucking outed your Summer Mania event match card on who won.
Didn't they put the show results?
But you post the results on your fucking website the day after the show.
Yeah, listen. I mean, listen. They don't. They're clearly backwards in promotion. I mean, if there's no question that they do, they're the worst company in terms of promotion. They don't even acknowledge people coming on here. They don't even promote themselves. You know, I couldn't say a good thing about their promotion. Justin Parsley and DJ Wolbert and Chris Jones have followings outside of XCW. So if they come here, they have followings. Chris is a gaming writer. DJ's got the paranormal haunted minds, and Justin Parsley is a hell of a personality. Those guys draw. The rest of their locker room does not draw flies because they don't know how to promote themselves. But I hate to tell you this, that's a lot of wrestlers at this level. A lot of guys.
I do want to respond to one thing.
Go for it.
Can you bring up the comment from 12:07 a.m. or 1:07 a.m. your time from Wrestling Critic? It's right under the Jack Delta one where he's like, "I appreciate you, Anthony." It literally goes Jack Delta, Wrestling Critic, gunshot.
Without Tom, this one? Which one?
Yeah. All right, so here we go. Without Tom, no one would know who these guys are. Let's just talk real life. All right. That is. So for some people, yeah, you can say that. You can definitely say that. Because some of these people, again, marketing is key. That's what I say all the fucking time. Marketing yourself is how you get noticed. With coming on Sportswire, which some of these guys come to Tom and ask to be on there, but then some of these guys are brought up by wrestlers like us that Tom then goes and reaches out to, and then they come on the platform. But see, here's the thing. I'm gonna spit facts.
Accurate. It's very accurate. Yeah.
I'm gonna spit facts on me. So in the backyard scene, everyone knows who I am. They either know me as a controversial figure that will sit there and shoot on any fucking body, or they know what my wrestling fucking is because I've traveled to so many different companies. Some people, I'll say it, Zach Attack, y'all only know him because I shit on this motherfucker on Sportswire Radio, and we still have one of the best fucking things where he just shouts on Sportswire Radio, shut the fuck up. Literally, there's different tiers. So what you said, some of that is right. So Wrestling Critic, you got about 50%. I give you 50%. You got an F in the fucking midterm, but you still got a grade. But if you're gonna come on here and try to say that all of us, no one would know who the fuck we are, there's a lot of people, and I'll say this again, Jack Delta. A lot of people know who Jack Delta is for the simple fact that he markets himself, he goes and interacts with different promotions, and he wrestles almost any fucking where that will book him. For the simple fact that is called marketing.
James Taylor, people know who James Taylor.
People know who James Taylor is because he markets.
I think Omen and Soldier people know who they are.
People know who Omen and Soldier because they market. People know who Ronnie Brady is.
Gabe Sayers, people know him.
Literally,
definitely know him.
It's all about marketing. Marketing is key. If you can't market, you can't get fucking noticed.
Listen, to be honest, I don't think Mr. Judgment's as good a marketer as Anthony Steele. I don't think he's a good marketer. And comparing to that, I don't think ADT is as good a marketer. I think that there are people that come on here. I think D'Angelo the Flame is a good marketer. He's become that. I think Alan Michaels is a good marketer. I think that there are people that are not good marketers, and they
here you go. Y'all want to hear a true story?
Go for it, because I got 5 minutes.
So without Tom, no one will know who these guys are. Let's just talk real life. All right, so let's talk about something that happened real life. Outside, let's break character, let's break kayfabe, everything. Me and Ronnie Brady, we were driving, we were selling some shit. And we pull up to the dude's house, and the first thing he does when he looks in the car and he sees me and Ronnie Brady, he literally says, "Aren't y'all wrestlers? Don't y'all wrestle in Memphis?" Literally get recognized by some random ass dude that we personally have never met. For the simple fact, we market. We sit there, we market shows that we're going to be on. That's the whole fucking thing about it. And I don't give a fuck if you've ever heard of Jack Delta. I don't care if you've heard about Anthony Steele, Ronnie Brady. Listen, there's a lot of people that don't know me, and there's a lot of people that do know me. They know of me. They either know me in person or they know me because of Sportswire Radio. But that's the thing, is without marketing, again, no one can get anywhere. Because if you just sit there and you post product on YouTube, I tell this to anybody. Anyone who has a cellular device can sit there, tap on it.
Guys, I think the problem that we face is that guys come here and they're expecting the same type of audience that Anthony Steele gets, James Taylor gets, Omen Black Soldier.
But no, I'm not even saying that. I'm saying for the simple fact of reacting to that dude's comment is anyone can pick up a phone, create a YouTube channel, and post a video of them wrestling in any fucking anywhere, anytime, on any fucking platform, on any goddamn fucking thing they call a ring, whether it's a real ring, a makeshift ring, or just a fucking yard or a trampoline. Anyone can do that. 100%. Are they going to get noticed like that? Some do, some don't. But that's the thing, is marketing. And that's if we're going to have a key word, marketing is the key fucking word.
Absolutely.
Because you can't, again, anyone can pick up a phone. Dude, I can pick up a phone. You know how many people pick up a phone at Walmart and fucking record a fight that happens at Walmart and then they post it? They literally post it. One, I'm going to say this. You want to know how videos get fucking found on TikTok? Hashtags. Hashtags are fucking key when you promote. For the simple fact that when people look up shit that is similar to that, then you come on. That is what is called a For You page. For then they interact with other things that are associated with your channel, your platform, which then your platform gets brought to them. Same with YouTube. When I watch BDE. For people that don't know who BDE is, he is a content creator for WWE 2K. He's like Chris Danger. Literally, as soon as I went and started watching Chris Danger, BDE and the Vibe channel both popped up on my fucking YouTube. I then check out their product. That's how it works. Literally, it's called marketing. Once you have a platform, you have a, what do we call a shtick on what you do. Once you promote, you then have that thing that is associated with other things that are like it. And you either get noticed or you don't. It just depends on how much you market yourself. TikTok is all about marketing. The more you post, the more views you get.
I'm big on Instagram. Do you see my Instagram? I'm big on Instagram. I have a lot of followers.
The more you post, and is the more that views you're going to get, because it's going to have a higher chance of being on someone For You friends. Literally, James Taylor, his shtick is stone cold fucking shit, and I'll say it. No disrespect to James. James is a stone cold mark. I love James, and I'm not knocking him for being a stone cold mark. But his product on TikTok is posting videos of Stone Cold Steve Austin. And people then who watch wrestling or watch things about Stone Cold then get him put on their For You page. When they check out his product, then they subscribe to James Taylor, which then at that point they get to share to their other friends that like that product. It's all about marketing. How much you market is how well your success is going to be. If you don't market, your success is going to not be great. If you market, there's a chance that you'll blow up. And there's a chance that you won't blow up for the next 1 to 2, 3 years.
In summary, because I don't have much of a voice left at this point, the main thing is that when you come to Sportswire, there are people that gravitate to this and you want to see them for reasons. When you know that those come on and after 10 minutes, you can kind of sense where this is going. And unfortunately, fortunately, depending on where you see, I think for you, the viewer at home, it's fortunately, you're seeing more or less that we're flushing out or weeding out who can hang here and who cannot. The people that can hang here are going to be, I think, in even bigger numbers. The people that cannot hang here, it's going to be, I'm sure, it's tough, and you're seeing that a little bit. XCW, a lot of it. I'm sure DBW, it's going to be awkward. Some of their guys aren't going to like it, because of what's been said. But the facts is that there are companies and there are people that they're going to get flushed out because you're seeing who plays here. But you know what? I think at the end of the day, we're getting on a grander scale because Brian White is here next Friday, and he's excited as hell. Kato he's going to be back. Jimmy Controversy's been here 3 times. Rad Dad, by the way, who is
bringing my buddy Brian in.
He's coming here next Friday, 9 p.m. I believe 9 p.m. Eastern time.
There's one last thing I want to talk about. One last comment.
Yes, which one? There's a lot of them.
The latest comment from Wrestling Critic. The 2 latest comments. So it's okay. I like it better when Tom was talking.
Well, you draw more views than me, so I like you talking.
This fatty proved nothing, lost brain cells. Okay, so let me talk about this. As I said, I've been doing this for 7 years. These are what I call trolls. Some people let trolls get to them. Some people let what they say interpret what their mindset going in afterwards of reading that is going to, foresee their foreseeable future on what they're doing. Look, you can call me fat, you can call me skinny, you can call me the worst fucking wrestler in the goddamn world. But there's one thing that I live by, and that is proving people wrong. Mm-hmm. Just face it, you're fat. Hey, look, I'm 6'4", 277 pounds. If that's fat, then shit, I guess I'm fat as shit. I eat like I'm fat. So that's the thing. Is everything you say, it doesn't bother me because opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one.
You always say that every show.
Exactly. Listen. I bring facts, you bring opinions, and you can't fight opinion. You can't fight facts with opinions.
No, are you bringing some of those opinions to Ronnie Brady at some point tomorrow?
All I'm saying is this. Out of character, Ronnie Brady's a great talent. Great fucking talent. Established fucking worker.
Absolutely.
In ring during our fucking feud, Ronnie Brady, you suck ass. You're a cheapskate that cheats his way to fucking victories, and when you can't fucking cheat anymore, you then team with them. For the simple fact that if you can't beat them, it's all about character work, dude. I don't give a fuck if I'm 300 fucking pounds. Look, Omen Black, and this is not shooting on him. Omen Black, 6 foot, 385 fucking pound. He's a big fucking dude, but he can fucking out wrestle a lot of these motherfuckers with no muscle, homie. I got muscle tone right here. I don't got to be built like Brock fucking Lesnar to fucking have muscles. So that's the one thing that I want to get.
James made a great point in his match with Gage Flair that you may not look a certain way, but you can still wrestle great. It doesn't matter.
Hey, listen. All I'm gonna say is this: I don't look like Roman Reigns. I don't look like Brock Lesnar. I don't look like The Rock. I don't look like John Cena. I'm not built like them.
But you look like LA Knight.
But look, I'm gonna say this: I can sit here and body 385 pound men. I can body 400 fucking pound men like it's fucking nothing. For the simple fact that I don't need to show muscle tone. I don't need to show that I'm skinny and have a 6 fucking pack to fucking get the marketing that I'm a badass tough fucking guy. For the simple fact that I let my in-ring capabilities talk for themselves. And that's the whole thing. Is people like you sit on a computer, you say what you fucking want. We call those keyboard warriors. And keyboard warriors are everywhere. No matter if it's the art of professional wrestling, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook.
They call them
like literally, Donald Trump is fucking was convicted of 36 different fucking felonies. Motherfuckers are out here supporting that. Hey, this motherfucker's getting arrested finally, and then you got the motherfuckers that are out here and be like, fuck that, Trump did nothing wrong, blah, 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 blah. Listen, I don't get into politics for the simple fact that it's the most controversial fucking thing in the world, dude. The world. But yeah, I let people like you sit in the comments and talk their shit for the simple fact that that's all you're going to fucking do is sit there and talk in the comments. You're probably someone that sits there and has nothing better to fucking do than run their goddamn fucking mouth for the simple fact that you yourself have nothing to amount to when it comes to someone like me. Listen, I can sit here and say that I'm one of the greatest wrestlers fucking alive. I can sit here and say that I've done this, and this. And then you can sit there and be like, that means nothing to me. Just because it means nothing to you doesn't mean anything to someone fucking else. There's a reason why I'm on Sportswire Radio almost every fucking day. There's a reason why I've been to so many different promotions. I've worked with so many different people, and I'm going to continue to do so. It's because of the simple fact that I will sit here and promote, no matter what the fuck I do. If I love the product, I'm going to promote it. If I hate the product,
Anthony, I'll say it this, and I actually am not getting sleep yet, D'Angelo, but I hope to see you soon. But what I will say is that I don't mind. I love having you here. I've said it pretty much like, I brought you on over a year ago and people were like, nah, don't do it. I brought you on. I always bring you on. You know what? I think Sportswire, the facts are, is that we're living in a new era. And I think we're living in a movement. And we're living in a movement and people want to see you. They want to see James. They want to see Omen and Soldier. And I think it's eating people up that they see you guys and they're seeing the different side of the world. I think that's really to me what it comes down to.
I just think it's funny. I think it's funny that people again like that. He's actually mad. This kid is an easy trigger. It's not one. I'm not triggered. I'm not mad. It's called I talk what I want to say and I do everything that I say I'm going to do. It's for the simple fact that y'all have nothing better to do with your lives. So you hop on somewhere, you type out what the fuck you want to say, and then you think that someone like me that comments on it is triggered. There's a difference between triggered and just reacting to something that someone says. For the simple fact, if I was triggered, I'd be like, oh, fuck you. I'm tired of what the fuck you got to say. That shit hurt my feelings. You don't hurt my feelings, dude. You don't hurt my feelings. You have no effect on my life. You literally have zero aspects in anything that I fucking do with my career, my outside life, my fucking marriage, anything that I fucking have to do. Go smoke some more vapor. I work at a vape store. I'll smoke all day fucking I want.
Well, you know what, ladies and gentlemen?
It's one of those things where you sit there, do what you got to do. I'll sit there. I'll make money. And we'll see who wins at the end of the fucking day.
I'll tell you what, at the end of the day, thank you for tuning in. Also, last thing, let me go with Jack Delta. Final comment, because at this point, I think we got the point. It's pointless to try to reason with this guy. He's made up his mind. He sees all this upset. You just move on and watch him fester. Honestly, it's probably a wrestler.
Not upset, Delta. Not upset. Just spitting facts.
It is what it is. It is what it is. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen, this was, and I appreciate everybody.
I got one more thing.
Okay.
The haters are always your biggest fans because they want to be and they can't.
No, there's it's not even that. It's the one thing that I've learned is if you don't have people hating on you, you ain't doing something right.
But you know what? And that's what it is. We are living in a new era, open collaboration. If you're in, you're with us, we'll love you. If you're not in, wish you luck. But obviously, we're living in an era, maybe we're reliving the Monday Night Wars in the backyard in the underground. Maybe we're embracing the change, but change is good. And we're seeing maybe the territories develop for the first time in the yard in the underground. And those that are here expect friendship like you've never received before. All the love and support that this community has been lacking. Expect it and embrace it. If not, I wish you all the best, but this platform will be about those that want to be here. And tonight was the Promo Wrestling Federation's unveiling in the Sportswire Radio family. And there is no channel, at the end of the day, ROEW, as Jack Delta said, yes, guarantee is going to be dropping. Well, ROEW is definitely not getting hate comments from me. And I love Aaron Blaze. He's actually one of my friends. Aaron Blaze is the headline, the main event, one of my boys. How you doing? I think I know who that might be, but I'm going to certainly say Aaron Blaze is my boy. And Jack Delta's my boy, and so is Anthony Steele and Mac 10 are my boys, because the people that are in the movement are certainly all wrestling matters, and either you're in or you're out. And I think we're starting to see, maybe without even knowing it, battle lines being drawn. But you better be here tonight, 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. And I know Anthony Steele will be watching, because the West Memphis Kid, Ronnie Brady, is live to go into the Hall of Fame to join Anthony Steele.
I don't care about Ronnie Brady.
You won't be. So obviously you'll be going out to McDonald's, right? Or going to do some vaping. So, all right, fair enough. But I hope everybody tunes in. And boy, this was the longest Sportswire radio show in history. So congratulations, Anthony Steele makes history. You've officially had the longest time Sportswire radio show in history. Anthony Steele, maybe you will take over my platform and you can have it and keep the change. You get all the royalties. But thank you. Have a great day. Have a good evening, afternoon, whatever it might be. And thank you to D'Angelo the Flame, who I think I have a video coming out for you tomorrow, because I might actually have something that I might be wearing on our show tomorrow with Ronnie Brady of yours. So it might be a little clue, a D'Angelo the Flame shirt, but I'm sure I'll have an Anthony Steele one soon. But until then, thank you so much for all of your support. Have a great night. God bless. And we love you, Jack Delta. Thank you for all you've done for our community.